This is a Miami Sports Music Podcast Network production. This is the #1 Miami fan morning show. Clock blockers, let's go.
I know the whole city riding. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to get in the winter column. Whole squad been trained to go. Fence for life, we throw the folk. Singing this just to welcome bro.
What up, baby? DJ Genesis, Stephen D, Miami Sports Music Podcast Network, Clock Blockers, the #1 Miami fan morning show. Good morning to my Finlaws and my family. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We got your Hot Take Tuesday.
Woo-wee!
Doing the thing here today on Clock Blockers this morning. I know some of the fans are in the dumps. Don't worry about it. We're going to bring you out of the dumps.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to give you that bag of hopium this morning. Don't you worry about it. Your local hopium dealers are in the building.
Even got the local vibes going on, representing everybody, you know?
We got DJ Genesis in the building. What up, baby?
What's up, my B? What's going on, man?
What's
Good?
going on, man? Good morning. Good morning. Want to let everybody know to follow DJ Genesis at I am DJ Genesis. And you can also follow me at Stephen D SKPL. Spread kindness, positivity, and love. If you are also on social media, you might as well follow Miami Sports Music while you're at it.
Might as well.
Miami Sports Music, or on Twitter or X or whatever it is these kids want to call it nowadays, at MIA Sports Music. On your way in today, if you haven't done so already, hit the like button. Give us a thumbs up. Give us 2 thumbs up if you can. Whatever you want to do. Just make sure you hit the like button. It's free. You literally take your finger, you take your phone, you just hit it, and there you go. It's that easy. It's that easy, okay? Just make sure you hit the like button. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Subscribe. We are less than 10 subscribers away from 11,000 subscribers, DJ Genesis.
Call a friend, tell a friend, man. We got the hottest show right now on a Tuesday. You know, I know you do this thing all week, but you know,
Tuesday's Hot Take Tuesday for a reason.
It's hot, man. I got my sweater on, you know what I mean? It's making sure it's a sauna time right here, you know. So
it's a sauna. It's a sauna. I like it.
Now I know, Steven, I know you getting your thing together. I know you just moved to the MISS, you know what I mean?
Crooked letter I.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you down there in the
come back I.
So you represent the whole Dolphin fan. So if anyone had to notice, you know, Steven's room back where he was you're moving from Maryland, right? Maryland. There you go. Yeah.
Maryland.
His room was decked out, right? The room was, you could sell it.
I'm gonna get it, DJ.
Hold on. I'm letting them be patient with you. You know what I'm saying? I said, so I'm expecting, when I saw Steven's last mural in his at home, I was like, yo, this dude got it all. And I can't wait till he sets up his office. You know, he sets it up. I know he's got ideas.
Well, I got this thing decked out. I got like new monitors, you know, the lights.
The technology's up.
I got a nice little desk that's got LED lights on it. I got the new arm, you know.
Oh, okay.
You know, I'm doing it, baby.
You hear with it. See? And so imagine
so now
how
it's
the mural is going to look.
And I think this will get done probably in the next 6 to 8 weeks, depending on how everything goes the next few weeks. So that's the goal.
See, that's the thing. You're up there in Mississippi, you know, got a little country life, probably got some good barbecues going on. College football is big.
Oh my God, is college football huge here? Let me tell you something, dude. It's something else.
Another level. It's another level. But you're missing out what's going on at home. I'm gonna tell you about this weekend, man. If you were in South Florida this past weekend, you knew the Panthers were in action. They're making sure they're getting their preseason, you know, get a little preseason work in. That was Saturday night. If you are,
I saw your social media, man. It looked like you were having a good time there.
All over the place, man. Yeah, we lost the game, but you know, it's not about winning. It's about getting the kinks out. Trust me, I had to get a lot of kinks out.
Preseason, we don't care about wins and losses. We're just worried about the kinks.
We're worried about the kinks.
And that's not the name of the band we're talking about. We're talking about the kinks we got to work out to make sure we go back to the NHL finals. I get it.
Funny story. I'm there. I got my mix going. And what happens to my controller? One of my channels don't want to work. So I'm literally ready to go play the pump song, and the channel isn't working. I had to do some real impromptu stuff, switch the channel, make sure it was working. You had
to become an engineer on the spot, didn't you?
Literally. And that's what we're talking about, getting the kinks out, man, making sure that we're on time, making sure we're buttoned up. You know, everybody's coming in. So that was fun. We lost 4-2 to Tampa Bay, but it was all good.
Man,
we got the kinks out. We all do. We all hate Tampa Bay, man. We hate them brothers up there. But moving on, Sunday, not only was the Dolphins playing, but we also had Miami Carnival. So people are
Oh
familiar.
man, I've always wanted to come down when that happens.
When that happens next year, I got you. So not only you got the Dolphins game going on, you got people down at FIU partying. They got the costumes going
Dude,
on,
I
the
know,
Caribbean
man.
vibe.
It's a vibe. I heard it's a vibe.
The food is off the chain. You know, all the ladies look amazing. So I left the game, shot over to Carnival, had some fun with that, and Monday we just had to chill out and relax and take it all in, man. And
How long does Carnival last? Is that just the weekend?
It is just a week, but it starts from like the Tuesday before with all the parties, and then leads into.
I feel like we just
festival.
missed it by a week at Fan Club Weekend, man. I was just
a week, brother. I would have definitely had you in the parties. I would have had you on the top of the truck.
I would have been there too. Like, let's go, baby.
I know. A lot of fun.
I got my mask and everything. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go, baby.
Ready to go, baby. But that was a Miami, and of course the Dolphins, big W. I don't think we expected anything less. We're going to dive into the details of the game.
Yeah, we're going to get into everything. Let me just finish up the wrap up. If
you guys
haven't done so already, sign up to become a member today. There are plenty of seats waiting at the table for you. In the description below, you will see membership. Go ahead and hit that. If you guys want to donate to the channel to help the channel grow, you guys can use the YouTube Live Super Chat, which is the $ below the bottom of the chat, or you can also use Cash App or PayPal, which is $MSM Podcast Network or MSM Podcast Network, or use the QR codes that you just saw on your screen. Want to give a big shout out to ZSM Sports, the #1 place to get your cards, jerseys, balls, and hard-to-find items, and Tailgreeter. Download the app today on your current Crapple or Android devices, whatever it is that you have. Team Android all day. Team Android.
Team Apple, baby.
Team Android. Team Android. Hey, look, I do want to remind you, we got a big weekend coming up. This Friday, we are going to be live at Dirty Sportswear in Oakland Park from 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to noon. So if you want to come and hang out, we're going to have this guy just said he's coming, DJ Genesis.
Oh, I'm pulling up. I'll definitely be in the building. Don't worry about that.
We got Tamaris from MTV's All-Star Shore, the New Jersey Shore show. We got Cameron from East 32, Solo D, Nando Talk, Worldwide Golf Fans Clubs, and every time we go to Dirty Sportswear, we always got a special guest. One time we had Mike White's dad come through. One time we had Mo Vaughn, former Boston Red Sox, come through. There's always somebody that might come through, somebody of somebody.
You never know.
And hang out with us. You never know. So it should be good times. And the next day, the Saturday, is the Saturday 2023 Fan Club Meet and Greet. And the 2023 Fan Club Meet and Greet is it's going to be a vibe. It's going to be good times. If you guys want to come to that, I'm putting in the chat right now the link for you to RSVP. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. We just want you to RSVP. So if you're going to come to the Bow Campers in Fort Lauderdale Saturday from 3 p.m. to 7, make sure you come out. DJ Tropic 2.0 is going to be on the 1s and 2s. Solo D's going to be there. I'll be there live streaming the entire time from Bow Campers this weekend. And then we're going to have all the this is being put together by the Worldwide Doll Fan Clubs. Mark Angelo, who's always in the chat. Shout out to Mark Angelo, the godfather of the Doll fans, and also Scott Howell from Atlanta Doll Fan Group. And let me tell you, the club, those guys, Mark and Scott, none of this would happen without those two guys. So shout out to them. We want to see you there Saturday, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., the meet and greet at Bow Campers. We hope that you come. And then last but certainly not least, Sunday, the tailgate. If you guys, we still have spots at the tailgate. Go to tailgreeter.com, type in East 32 Dolphins tailgate. Come hang out with DJ Genesis, myself. It's going to be a DJ Breezy's going to be there on the 1s and 2s. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be good times. Now, enough of all that. We got to get into some stuff because I have a special guest in the back waiting. I haven't spoken to this guy in a while, and he's one of my best friends. I love the guy. I'm super excited to hang out and talk with him because we got a lot to talk about. So one of the things we didn't talk about yet this weekend was the debacle on Saturday night. Okay, there's so many things to get into with this. So I couldn't have the conversation without having this guy come on because he has the #1 podcast. He has the #1 YouTube show for anything Miami Hurricanes. I'm talking about from Locked On Canes, our friend, our brother, Mr. Alex Dono.
Hey, Steve. Hey, DJ Genesis.
What's up, Alex? What's going on,
I
man?
feel like I should be wearing a paper bag over my head today. It's
Man.
obviously, as a lifelong Miami Hurricanes guy, I've been through some great moments. I've been through some terrible moments. This is not my first rodeo when it comes to embarrassing losses, but I
This
don't
one
think
takes the cake.
this one takes the cake because I don't think Miami has ever become quite the meme that they became on Saturday. Like everyone, I'm getting texts from relatives who don't even watch football who are like, "Are you okay? What the hell happened?" And then I'm trying to explain it to people who didn't watch the game, and that was obviously, all you can do is move
Dudley
on
Do
from.
Wrong, right? Dudley Do Wrong, who does the
Of
YouTube
course
show.
I do. Yeah. What did he say?
So Dudley was at the game and left with like 3 minutes left in the game. He thought we had won it.
Yeah.
And so I texted him and I was like, dude, crazy. You can't ever go back to a Canes game. You're not allowed to go to a Canes game no more. He's like, what are you talking about? I went and we won. I was like, go to ESPN
score,
right
right?
now.
Oh.
And he's like, what? I said, dude, biggest couldn't even believe. So I'm here in my office. I got the couch here. I got the TV set up here. My wife comes in. They don't take the knee.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and the fumble happens, which by the way wasn't a fumble. Let's just be clear.
It wasn't, but it was karma. It wasn't a fumble, but it was karma because the referees wanted to make sure, even if this probably isn't a fumble, we need to punish you for not taking that knee, is I think what they said.
It was just absolutely asinine that there was no knee taken. And so, what they had 75 yards in less than 30 seconds. By the way, they didn't score any points till 3 minutes left in the third quarter. It was a travesty of a football game from Georgia Tech. And I'm not saying Miami Hurricanes played that great either, but they were at least doing what they needed to do to make sure they win that game, except for taking a knee with under 40 seconds left.
Alex, can you break? Because I didn't watch the game, unfortunately.
Good for you. I'm happy for you. Actually, I'm jealous.
Right. Unfortunately, the Panthers had a game at the same time, so I'm working that game, and obviously I'm tracking it, and I'm like, we're gonna win, and then I see can you really? And I only seen the highlight of the last play. Can you break down what happened in the last 2 minutes for us to even get to that position to not kneel?
So Miami was in, kind of a fragile position when they got the ball. I think there was about like 6 minutes left or less when they got the ball up 3, basically like trying to, and the offense had been out of sync for most of the game. So it's like, all right, if we can pick up a few first downs, we can ice this game. And they were strictly running the football because, there were a few big plays made in the passing game, but overall the passing game had been out of sync. So let's ice this game with the running game. Don Chaney, the running back on the field, who was closing in on 100 yards, had a really nice game, pick up a couple first downs that they needed. They're in Georgia Tech territory, and then things were happening so fast. My guess is, because I will admit, being at the game, much like Mario Cristobal, I am not much of a math guy. Like, I didn't even realize in that moment, oh my God, take a knee. Like, because people were, Tim Hasselbeck apparently is way smarter than me, way smarter than Cristobal when it comes to math.
Hold up, let's not go that far.
No,
hey, he was calling the game. Go ahead, Alex.
Okay.
Well,
because I'm saying because I wasn't listening to the ACC network people who were watching the game on TV, because I went back and watched the game. I just wanted to punish myself. Apparently, like Tim Hasselbeck was saying on the commentary, what are they doing? They should be taking knees here. I didn't have the benefit of even hearing that. So watching.
You're not even processing that in the moment.
It's all happening so fast. I'm just like, basically my thought is keep getting yards, don't fumble. Which apparently was the same thought that Mario Cristobal had, but they ran their last offensive play inside 40 seconds. Yes, they could have taken a knee and run the clock out. Instead, I guess Mario Cristobal just doesn't do knees. They hand the ball off to Don Chaney. Don Chaney, I'm not even going to say he fumbled, because like you said, Steve, I don't think it was a fumble. It wasn't a fumble, but he coughs the football up. Georgia Tech comes up with it. The referees review it. They still rule that it was a fumble. And then I think Miami's defense, who had been playing like superheroes for 59 and a half minutes up until that point, they were probably so shocked at what transpired. They go back on the field and they give up 2 big passing plays, including a long touchdown. And it was actually, surprisingly enough, the best player on the team, Cam Kinchins, who was really the one who busted the coverage that led to the TD, which is like the last guy you would expect to make that sort of a mistake. And
Right.
it was one of the most shocking 40 seconds of football that I've ever seen in my entire life. And again, like you guys were alluding to it, what everyone is going to remember, and rightfully so, is Mario Cristobal not opting to kneel down, because despite everything that went wrong to that point, you could have won the game if you take the knee. Now, I still will point out the game shouldn't have been that close. It shouldn't have even come down to that. You know, the passing game was out of sync. Tyler Van Dyke was able to, overcome some adversity throughout the game and make some big time throws.
Hey, let's say it. He didn't play well.
He didn't. Okay. He threw 3 interceptions, including 2 INTs thrown in scoring position, when they cost Miami at least 6 points, right? When you're in field goal range, you throw 2 interceptions there, you're costing yourself 6 points, if not 14 points. The defense played really, really well. It was the only reason why Miami was even in that game and gave them the opportunity to be up 20-17. They were supposed to beat that team by 3 touchdowns. They were favored by 3 touchdowns against Georgia
21
Tech.
points, 20 points, right? 20 and a half points or something.
It was Murphy's Law. It was 20 and a half. It was Murphy's Law. Everything went wrong for Miami in that final minute, including one of the worst coaching mistakes I've ever seen.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, but I got. I'm sorry, Stephen, because I'm locked in. I don't know if y'all know, but my mom works at UM. I went to UM. I'm
Awesome.
UM all day. Like, so trust me. I'm sorry. I know we got to get to the show, but I got to get. He made the same mistake 5 years ago.
That's exactly what I was about to do.
Yeah.
I was about to get in. I'm like, Alex, he has a track record of doing this, though.
So when this happens, is this something that he probably thought last time it was just an aberration? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, probably.
And then when he gets down there, you think today or whenever they get back to their meetings, they have to have a meeting about, I might have to make somebody be like my all-time clock manager or something like that.
Yes, they need that. In fact, I think that just based on Cristobal's reaction right after the game, and I thought, he was a little bit like shocked, right, as anybody would be in that situation right after the game. I thought that he handled his Monday press conference. I was there yesterday. I thought he handled it really well, took full accountability.
The was horrible.
Yeah,
it was horrible.
Yeah, which is, I can understand in that.
Did you hear what he said in the post game?
Yeah.
He goes, and I quote, my running back has to keep both hands on the ball there.
Yeah, which is in.
Are you kidding me?
He completely walked that back on Monday. Yeah.
Was that some Zach Wilson type? I ain't do it.
Yeah, but
right.
So here's my
he
thing.
walked that back on Monday and said he shouldn't have even been in that spot.
Yeah.
So here's my thing. Cristobal comes in to be the savior of the franchise after we hoped Manny Diaz was going to be that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not the case. Mario Cristobal struggled last year. And all of a sudden, he makes all these coaching changes, right? From last offseason or in this past offseason. So now we come in, we're like, okay, we got a good recruit, because Cristobal can recruit. He's really good at recruiting.
And he's still recruiting. They landed a 4-star verbal commit after that game, which is kind of a miracle.
It is because people on Twitter were like, if I'm any recruit, why would I want to come here if this is the blunder that they're going to be doing? Now,
I saw my man's crying on the sideline. What are we doing here? This is real deal.
So my question to you is, this doesn't look good for Cristobal, not from a fan standpoint, and my guess is not from an alumni standpoint or athletic booster standpoint in the athletic director there. He's got to have a short leash at this point because that is the worst loss in the team's history, in my opinion. And they've lost championship games badly. They've lost Orange Bowls badly. That game on Saturday night was hands down the worst loss in University of Miami history.
Yeah, it's up there. You can make that, and I've been to some bad ones. I was at the Middle Tennessee game. I was at the game they lost to FIU. But this one, you're right. This is probably, just given the situation, snatching defeat from the jaws of victory is probably the worst. Listen, man, I don't know how, does the lease get short? I think it gets shorter, but he's in. First of all, I don't think firing him is the answer at this point. We got to see.
I know that's extreme. I get that.
It is extreme. And I get you feel that way, but I just want to put it out there because some people are like, that's a fireable.
The fans are putting this out.
The thing is, there's so much that went into building this staff and assembling the type of recruits that he's assembling. I'm not saying he's unfireable forever. I'm just saying I certainly don't fire him after that moment. You have to see how this team responds, because here's a fork in the road coming up, guys. We've seen it go the other way in the past. Sometimes in the past, a lot of times in the past, Hurricanes suffer a tough loss it breaks the team mentally, and that loss turns into 2, 3, 4,
Mhm.
5 losses, right? It could go that way, or this could end up being a turning point in a
We
positive
hope.
way.
We hope.
For example, before Georgia Tech came in here and beat Miami last week, Georgia Tech lost to Bowling Green the week prior. It didn't break them because they played a lot better again. You know, we can say what we want to about how Miami blew the game, but Georgia Tech was still very competitive, and they ultimately
They were
won the game.
competitive for literally a quarter in 3 minutes.
Yeah, but they
For
they
a
bounced
quarter
back.
and 3
They
minutes.
played a lot better against Miami than they played against Bowling Green.
That's
All right,
true.
so they
That's
bounced.
true.
So Miami needs to bounce back that same way. And so for me, I think as far as Cristobal, obviously keeping or earning back the trust of your players is the most important thing. You know, you can't worry about the fans right now and the alumni. You've got to make sure your players are still on board.
Mhm.
And, you know, I think what he's been doing for the last couple of days, taking accountability. He said he had conversations with any player who wanted to talk to him over the last couple of days. So, you know, you've got to make sure you keep the whole
I would have
family.
loved to have been a fly on the wall for
I would
some
have
of
loved
those
to have been as well.
conversations.
So listen, man, it's all you obviously you have to keep the family atmosphere in the locker room and that sort of relationship with your players, because that's how you're going to bounce back. So for me, it's like, listen, could a mistake like that send you on the path of eventually being fired? Sure. I've seen it happen enough times. That one moment, as horrible as it was, is not a fireable offense, nowhere
Right.
close to that for me, because, you know, with the foundations being built here, Miami fans have to understand, because I know it's kind of the knee jerk down here is a coach makes a mistake, you got to fire him. Bring in
Right.
the next guy.
But
Let's
Miami,
fly the banners. Let's fly the. That's just how a lot of fans are down here. You have to understand. Like if you're going to fire a coach every time you have a bad loss or every time a coach makes
you're
a
going to be
mistake,
firing a lot.
and you're never going to get anywhere, because there's so much that has to be reset in terms of recruiting and staffing and stuff. So it's like, no, I got to see how they bounce back from this.
But Miami fans want that quick fix, right?
Yes.
They're sick of losing. They want to be when the University of Miami football program is good, college football is better. And that's a fact. Whether you hate them or you love them, when they are good, the college football scene is 10 times better than what it is.
You're right, Steve.
So I think they just want that quick fix as a fan base.
I'm gonna push back on the quick fix aspect. We've been through the situation, obviously, with all our sanctions before and not being able to get our top recruits and so on. We saw the situations with past coaches that couldn't get it, not because they weren't ilk, it's just that Miami wasn't ready yet. You know, now Miami, from a school standpoint, they got the money, the medical centers kicking up, and obviously facilitated that facility behind Alex, you know. So the players, I think he's also done an amazing job in recruiting. This particular offense just wakes up our eye. I think it opens our eyes to say, you know what, maybe he's not the savior that we thought, and he has these particular type of inaccuracies that can come up. And before we trust again, we're gonna make sure that he corrects this. I don't think it's fireable. I don't think we're looking for a quick fix. I think we want to build, and I think he's building something for longevity. You know what I mean? But this particular offense just makes us scratch our heads because it was so dumb.
And he's done it before.
And he's done it before. And it's almost like, all right, brother, this has already been embarrassing in Oregon. Now you're embarrassing the University of Miami. Oregon ain't UM. You know, it ain't. So you need to tighten that up. Take full responsibility. I actually like when if something like happens that wakes you up, kind of a shaking moment. You know, to think that you don't have it all together. So you need to go back to the drawing board and fix those small things that obviously eventually made us lose. Because imagine us losing like this in the national championship or or ACC championship game or something like that. Yo.
And I'll give you a quick anecdote, because I happen to, and I hope he doesn't mind me sharing this. I don't see why he would, and I'll leave his name out of it just for the sake of, because it was an off the record conversation. But I was chatting a little bit the other day with a parent of a player on the team who actually an older son of his played for Cristobal at Oregon and was on the team when the mistake happened against Stanford. Younger son plays for Miami now, and you know, despite what happened back then, his his older son continued to support Mario. They recovered from it. They moved on, and he's keeping that same attitude that, listen, it's still, he's not angry at Mario for that. He's not, putting his head down. He says they're going to recover. They're going to be all right. And he was basically was saying, like, well, why can't our fans find a way to, and listen, I get it because I'm a fan. It's tough, but we need to move on from it. It just is what it is. You have to hope that the players and the coaches have that sort of energy. Like this mistake doesn't have to mean the season is over and they're not going to win another game this year. It's just, it is what it is. It's one loss.
But Alex, funny enough you say that, but it's funny how things can, if they don't go to North Carolina this weekend and show up.
By the way, that's the game of the week.
That's what I'm saying, Alex.
Yeah,
if they don't show up this
big
weekend and they lost last week, and you got 2 back-to-back losses, and it seems like a ripple effect is going. That's what I'm talking about in terms of building a program. We could have been 5-0. Let's say you go to North Carolina, it's a great game. We lose close. We still got the respect and love because North Carolina's, they've been building their program for the last couple of years. But you lose to North Carolina, depending on how the team shows up from the mental debacle this Saturday, is going to be very interesting in Raleigh. What's going to happen up there in Chapel Hill? I'm interested to see how the team.
What do you think?
Alex, go ahead. I don't know.
What do you think, Alex?
Listen, physically, I see no reason why it can't be a close game. North Carolina has one of the most dynamic offenses in the country. I will give them that. Drake May has got a lot of weapons, including Tez Walker, who was recently cleared by the NCAA just in time to kind of get his feet wet before facing Miami.
It's stupid that he wasn't available week
It was.
One,
it was
a whole other conversation that we don't have time to get.
Yeah, listen, as long as Miami doesn't run the coverage that they ran in the final 26 seconds, I feel really good about their defense. And they did even last year, they forced Drake May into 2 interceptions. I think the big question is Miami's offense going to show up? I think that's the big thing. That's going to be the difference because I trust the defense to keep things competitive. You're not going to keep North Carolina out of the end zone completely. Their offense is just too good. But I trust the defense to keep Miami in the game. We need to see the offense bounce back because the offense, they looked basically perfect the first 4 games. They showed a lot of weaknesses against Georgia Tech. They need to bounce back big time this week. So I think this can be a close game. I mean, I'm actually surprised just based on how last weekend played out because North Carolina steamrolled Syracuse. Miami did what they did against Georgia Tech. I thought UNC would be bigger favorites, more like a touchdown. When I checked the opening line, it was about -3, North Carolina favored by about a field goal. So I think that the odds makers are still, respecting how good Miami's roster is on paper. So just really mentally, if they show up and if the offense can click, it can be a close game and it could potentially be a coin flip. I'm not going to say Miami's going to steamroll them or anything, but I think it can be a close game.
All right, real quick. I want to segue just for a second while I still have you because I know a lot of the fans, the 100 people that are here right now, 100 plus people that are watching. By the way, hit the like button. Want to hear your thoughts about what the news came down the pike this morning about the Miami Dolphins and Devon Achane.
Got to throw the head off of that. Like, oh man.
What are your thoughts about Devon Achane and the injury that?
I feel terribly unlucky. Do we know is it a rest of the season thing or just a
multiple? So right now he's not being put on IR. It's saying multiple weeks.
Multiple weeks is what I saw. Yeah.
So here's the thing. Here's the dilemma that the Dolphins are in. You put him on IR. He's probably out the next 4 to 6 weeks.
Right.
Right. He'd be out at least the 4 and probably 6 with the bye week in there. If he doesn't get put on IR, is he out 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Is he back for the Germany game? Do you have him fly across the pond if it's depending on how swelled up that ankle is? Like all this stuff. So there's a lot of questions kind of put into that, and I think that we'll know in the next couple of days whether he gets put on the IR or not. And if he gets put on the IR, he's at least 4 weeks. In my opinion, he's probably out 6 if that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it hurts because he's been Miami's best offensive player the last 2 games, right? I mean, I do a post game show on WQAM, and I've given Devon Achane, key offensive player of the week the last 2 games. Obviously, Tyreek Hill gave him some competition yesterday, but Achane to me, he's been tremendous really since that Denver game and go these last 3 games. So he's been Miami's best runner. I mean, at least you're getting Jeff Wilson back off IR. See how quickly he can get reintegrated.
I still think that that's a move because of Achane's injury.
Could be. And listen, obviously I like Raheem Mostert a lot and his responsibility. It's going to go kind of back to what it was before Achane busted out. So like the first couple of weeks when Achane didn't play much, Mostert was the featured guy. He will be again. So I still think Miami has more than enough in their backfield to beat Carolina this week.
We're not worried about Carolina. We're
not worried about that. I'm worried about Philly the following week.
Which I'll be there, and we'll have the Philly Finvasion. If you guys want to come to the tailgate,
that's going to be the big question.
And get your tickets for the we're 1 block away from the stadium. We already have over 100 people signed up for the tailgate. It's going to be good stuff.
That's going to be nice. That's going to be nice.
All right, real quick, tell the people about Locked On Canes and the extra yard, man.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Locked On Canes. I'll start with that. I've got a new episode coming out at 11:30. And at 11:30, we're going to speak with a couple of former great Miami Canes players, national championship winners, Lamar Thomas, wide receiver, and Mark Caesar, defensive tackle, and kind of talk to them about how the team needs to respond from such a tough moment. We'll get insight from guys who have suited up and been there before. That'll be at 11:30. Locked On Canes. You can find our YouTube channel or get the audio version at Locked On Canes. Extra Yard, I host it with Troy Stradford weekly on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Usually we put those out on Wednesdays, so look out for that tomorrow around 3 p.m. And Troy is my resident running back, so we'll talk about how quickly Jeff Wilson can get up to speed and how much they're going to miss Devon Achane. I'm sure we'll get heavily into that. So yeah, those are the best places to find me.
Guys, go check out Alex. Everything about Alex is awesome. Alex, this is the first time you and DJ Genesis talked.
That's awesome, man. Overdue,
brother. I love everything you do. Of course, you're dedicated to the Hurricane.
Alex is a big Panthers fan. You like the
Panthers?
Yeah,
we all rock with everybody in the.
You got to go see DJ Genesis do his thing live. I was there at the NHL Finals Game 4 last year with him.
Sweet.
It was such a wild scene.
Alex, just hit me in the DM, Alex, and I got you passes. You come through, do the vibe, press box, all the energy. You know what I mean?
Let's
I got
do
you.
it.
Man.
See, Alex, I take care of you, don't I?
He does.
Networking, live networking.
Live
LinkedIn right here.
Alex, are you gonna come out? Are you free to come out this Saturday and hang out at Bow Campers for a little bit in Fort Lauderdale?
Well, it depends on what time, because I got the Canes game Saturday night. I'm not gonna be in Chapel Hill, but I got to work on the broadcast.
All right, so it's from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. live at the Fort Lauderdale location in Bow Campers.
Okay, I could try to come for the early part.
And I will say, if you want to stop by, we're all going to be there on Friday morning at Dirty Sportswear in Oakland Park. So we're going to have free food. We got Tamaris from the new MTV All-Star Shore. She's going to be hanging out with us. We got DJ Genesis, Nando Talk, Cameron, and a lot of the fans. So if you want to come out to that too, we'd love to have you if you're free. But
yeah, hit me up,
buddy. I want to see you this weekend.
Thank you, man. I want to see you too.
And I'll come on your podcast too, Alex. I'm a big Hurricane fan, man. So I got all the history. Sean ST and I grew up together down here in South Florida. So there's a lot of energy and a lot of love from that era moving on forward. So big up to you. Keep doing your thing, brother.
Thank you so much, Genesis. Thank you so much, Steve. I'll talk to you guys later.
Love you, bro. Be good. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Dono.
I thought he did an amazing job filling in myself and possibly other fans that didn't see like the last 6 minutes, because all I was seeing was like the highlight of like we just blew it. I was like, nah, there has to be.
The moment it happened, I went to Twitter and just was on Twitter for the next hour and a half. And was, by the way, was thoroughly entertained with Twitter because everybody was killing them, and it was bad.
Steve, let's move on. We had a great game on Sunday with the Dolphins.
Yeah, man.
And the Giants.
Yeah, let me get your recap of your Sunday, because we've already heard it from us, but I am interested what you think.
All right, so I sent you a video to your WhatsApp. I don't know if you could throw it on.
Yeah, I'm trying to download it now.
If you can't, we'll see to get that. So I got there early, which is rare. I'm always getting there right after the the planes fly over, and I'm walking in, and I never get to see like the Star Spangled Banner. But today I said, you know what, I'm going to take in the whole shebang. So we got there early. Shout out to the Metro Rail boys. They throw a tailgate in East 12 every Sunday, and it's crazy.
Yeah,
Solo D was
209 East 12 and East 32, which is where I'm at. And then you got the Metro boys who are like right in between East 12 and East 32.
You know the vibe. So they're out there. DJ Nasty, 305, Mr. We the Best, and of course Lil Bear, some legendaries. They're just killing it. So they're just killing the music. We had a Miami vibe. Then he also threw some love and played some music for the New Yorkers, so everybody can have, because there was a lot of Giants fans out there. So everybody had a good time. So big shout out to them. Then we move into the game. And the Giants fans were heavy. I was actually rolling with my cousin from the Bronx. He just moved down here. So he's a big Giants fan. So his house divided literally walking into the game. Fans are asking me, "You brought him here? Like, why you do that?" I'm like, "Yo, we got
brought him here. I love
brought him here." You know what I mean? They wanted me to leave him outside the stadium. Anyways, we get in there. The Dolphins start off strong. Touchdown to Waddle on the second drive. And other than Tua's miscues, the pick six and his overthrow to Mostert out the flat, those 2 interceptions. Other than that, I thought the team played.
All right, I got video loaded up if you want to see some.
Yeah, it's running. I just want to show them how it goes when we go to East 12. Throw some music behind there. I know you got some Solo D music.
I got some Solo D.
Yeah, throw some Solo D behind there so it can vibes up, because there you go. Yeah. So this is us walking to the tailgate. I meet up with Solo D. You see DJ Nasty and Lil Bear in the background turning up. It's always good to see the fans and the love.
I know the whole city.
Yeah, there you go. And we just outside.
Now we enterprise. Switch it up.
That's to my boy Al.
Well, that song actually goes really good with the video.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. See, the Giants fans was out here. We just having a good time.
Giant fans are cool. I ain't got no problem with Giants.
Yeah, they're cool. And you know what's funny? The Giants is my second favorite team. I'm from New York. Shout out to Lil Bear and DJ Nasty doing that thing. It was hot. It was hot yesterday. It was also hot. So just showing you.
They're down. Hold
on, this is a Mike McDaniel lookalike, as you can see. I got my Mike McDaniel.
I don't know how much he looked like Mike McDaniel.
Maybe the broke version,
The broke version of McDaniel. I love that. No, it's a vibe there. It is most definitely a vibe.
Look what my man was wearing. It was hot. He has a whole jacket on. Me and Solo D, of course, having a vibe, taking pictures with the fans. It's a good energy, So I just want everybody, if they ever come into a Dolphin game, make sure you check out the tailgate with the Metro Rail boys, and we just have a good time. And then there's the game. We get in there, we get a touchdown, and we out.
Yeah, man. No, it's good stuff, man. I'm excited for this Sunday. It's gonna be good times. It's gonna be good times. All right, let's dive in more into the Devon Achane injury, which is why most people are here. So Devon Achane, it was released this morning per Tom Pelissero and Ian Rappaport that he's going to miss multiple weeks. I'm not looking forward to that. Look, let me give you my thoughts. Number one, I'm deflated. I'm deflated. All right, I'm a big guy. It takes a lot to deflate me. All right, I'm not Tom Brady's balls over here. Okay, so I'm just saying. I was deflated this morning. Deflategate part 2.
Hey, that threw me for a loop just now.
and I don't know, man. I feel like every time the Dolphins move forward, it feels like the rug is up under, is pulled out from up under us. And I know that that's a fan talking. I know that's the curse of the Dolphins being on burial grounds, the Hard Rock Stadium, Indian burial grounds. I just want to know what it feels like to be a Kansas City Chiefs fan from the standpoint of I want to know every Sunday. It doesn't matter if we win or lose because we're going to be there at the end, and it doesn't matter. I want to know what it feels like, to go in every week thinking it doesn't matter. We're going to be there at the end, and we're probably going to be in the AFC Championship game or the Super Bowl. And we're not there yet, right? And I get that. And that it takes baby steps to get there. Because Chiefs fans didn't have that for a long time. They had to deal with Alex Smith for a long time, and then they got Patrick Mahomes. I just want to feel better. and this injury does not make me feel better. I don't have a lot of faith in Raheem Mostert to hold the ball. Although I will say this week, every time he got close to a player, he did put 2 hands on it.
He still lost. He still fumbled. He didn't lose it, but
he didn't lose it, but
he did cough it up.
Well, Devon Achane actually did fumble.
Achane actually did.
But I can live with that after the 4 games that he had. Jeff Wilson coming back, and it doesn't excite me.
Remember? I don't know if you remembered at the beginning of the season we were making what the team was going to do, and remember when I said that we don't have no real tight ends. I can't remember him even throwing the ball to a tight end.
Durham Smythe though has been
Durham Smythe, solid, but I'm talking about they're there to block. Those guys are there to block because you got the wide receivers going crazy. Obviously, we just got Chase Claypool. We're going to see how he integrates with the offense as well.
Chase Claypool is supposed to be playing this Sunday, which I'm excited about.
So that's why I was like, we are so wide receiver heavy. It seems like the
but we can't be dependent on that, Genesis.
I know.
We have to, in order to have a great passing game, you have to have an elite run game. All right, so let me say this. Let me interrupt and let me say this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that Raheem Mostert can't hold the rock for the next 4 to 6 weeks. I'm not saying that Jeff Wilson. We saw what they could do last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Devon Achane looked like he was about to be
the next big thing. I hear you.
The next coming of Jesus and cleats. Okay, he looked like he was about to be that guy.
No, he was, and but I also think his success. Obviously, yes, he's a great back, and the offensive line is doing his thing. But he hasn't done anything like, let's say, Bijan Robinson, who like makes 2-3 people miss in the hole or whatever. He's just fast, he cuts that rock. He's kind of like the Denver running back in the late 90s.
Mike Anderson.
No, not Mike Anderson.
Oh, Terrell Davis.
Terrell Davis, where there's nothing. I don't have to do too many juke moves in the hole or whatnot. I'm just gonna put my foot in the ground and you cannot catch me. That's what's amazing about Achane. The play against the Giants where he took the left zone and he found his hole and the safeties just took a wrong angle and he was out. And I'm like, the speed of this guy is just crazy. But the adversity, I think, like this guy said, new attitude. We get adversity, we got to pull together. I think Achane was a newfound love, newfound hope, but I don't think
that's all it is. That's all it is, right? And so I just said it. I called myself out. It's the fan in me that's worried about it, right? Now, the football aficionado, I can't say that word.
Aficionado.
Thank you, DJ Genesis. I went to public school, obviously. I didn't learn nothing. Okay, so I know that the Dolphins are going to be fine. Like, this offense is going to be good. McDaniel's got this thing on lock. I know that, Raheem doesn't have a history of fumbling. I get all that. But the Dolphin fan in me, has PTSD.
It's nothing like that.
And that's all that it is. It's nervousness as a Dolphins fan of Andravia says, Steven, if you can't say aficionado, you're probably not one. Shut up, Andrevius. You're probably right.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
But that's all where this is coming from, like the nervousness. And I can admit that as a Dolphins fan. And I think Dolphins fans feel that way too, right?
I'm not nervous though. That's weird. I'm actually not nervous. I've actually got a belief in the team. Remember when I said that the Dolphins defense was going to come along later in the season? We got to wait till like week 5, week 6. Seems like they're catching up a little faster than I thought. Granted, we're going to play the Giants. We're going to play Carolina. The real test is going to be against Philly in 2 weeks. Yeah. So this pretty much is like a preseason game against Carolina to set up. But we better not do what UM did and take them for granted.
It's funny because some of the fans on social media have been like, "Oh, this is a classic trap game. This is a trap game." First of all, let's get some. In order for it to be a trap game, you have to be facing a decent team. This team sucks. All right, let's call it what it is. Carolina is straight garbage, hot garbage, hot file 13. Put it in the shredder, garbage. All right. If we were to lose to this team, we don't deserve nothing. Okay, I'm just letting you know that right now. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I think we're going to be fine. What I want is less mistakes than I saw last week and straight domination, which I also saw last week, right? And that's very rare that you see domination and mistakes in the same game, but we did.
You want a complete game against those that we need to give a complete game to. Like, you're right. Against the Giants, we had a decent game, but there were a bunch of things that we could have cleaned up. And I think The biggest things were the 2 interceptions because they were not needed. It wasn't they were forced. The first one he threw it in between 3 people, bounced off, I think he was trying to get it to Hill, right? I'm assuming. And then the second one was an easy dump off to Mostert that he overthrew, and the linebacker Okorike was able to go ahead and get that. But you clean those up, and Tua's has to be intent with everything that he's doing. You know what I mean? I'm not saying mistakes can't happen. But he played a fine game, was finding the holes. He got the ball to Tyreek Hill over the top. I remember me and the fans got into it a couple weeks ago about him not being able to throw the ball just straight deep. I mean, it traveled about 25, 30 yards in the air, so it was still cool. It was cute.
It was cute. I like
it was cute. But Tyreek was able to get away from the DB and just, blow that open. But I'm confident that the offense can always get to that. You know what I'm saying? Whether Achane is there or not, I feel the offense with all the and once we got number 10 and Tyreek Hill, who, by the way, is leading the lead as the fastest man on turf right now with his 22.
He got that title back.
He wanted that title.
Although the fellas were clowning him that a backup corner or safety, caught him.
Caught him.
Long run.
I mean, angles.
Like, we're not going to let him live that one down. They were saying in the locker room.
He's like, I got the 22. But,
all right, Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. Yeah, we got DJ Genesis in the building, the DJ for the Florida Panthers, and does a lot of crazy stuff in South Florida. Make sure you go follow him on social media. Myself, Stephen D, and we're talking Devon Achane going down for multiple weeks. We're facing the Carolina Panthers this week. We get the Philadelphia Eagles the following week. Genesis, let me ask you, what now is the game plan? Does anything change for McDaniel now that Achane's out, in your opinion? Or do you think they keep on going with the status quo and just say, all right, plug and play, next man up, let's keep doing what we're doing?
Like I said, I think this next game it's hard to go into the next game saying, we need to really change things since we don't have Achane. I think you can keep the same game plan. I'm not sure what Jeff Wilson is looking like right now. Obviously, we don't know. If game speed is way different than just being on paper. But I think most of us are going to get a lot of the carries. I think there's going to be a lot of play action. He's probably going to do a lot of those funky plays where there's a lot of motion. I mean, that's what the Dolphins are doing, and they're just going to confuse Carolina. So I expect them to probably put this one away by mid-second quarter, and you might get a Mike White sighting. You know what I'm saying? I think the offense is just locked in that way. Not to say that you can plug and play with Achane, but Achane he's a new toy. You know what I mean? It's not like somebody like Tyreek Hill who we depend on to make sure that when he's running across or he's running, he's doing his pre-snap motions, it has a defense like going crazy. Mm-hmm. Once we have that, Waddle's getting acclimated a little bit more. Obviously, he missed the game, and he's getting into it. And Claypool, I think the Dolphins have said our wide receivers and Tua is what's going to take us to the promised land in the regular season. Now, the running game is going to be there. Achane came in. Those offensive boys are blocking. The zone reads, to me, are the best things that we have. The left zone and the right zone reads with a running back, those are the best plays that I see work for us out of the running game, and because those guys are so fast. And once you get a backer over pursuing and you can cut back, or a backer looking for the over, holding his thing, and you can run right by him in that zone read. The Dolphins offense, like Mostert was getting some love too. I mean, he may not be Achane and is young, but he was getting loose as well. So I don't expect that to change because Achane won't be in the backfield.
Look, so here's the thing. So Jeff Wilson coming back, and you also have Devon Achane, who's also going to probably get a chance to step up and play, and maybe even possibly Christopher Brooks if he goes, to the active. I think the question is going to be, how long is he out for? If he's out for 2 to 3 weeks, I think we're going to be all right. If he's out for this stretch when we're facing the Eagles and the Chiefs, I'm going to feel some type of way about it, just from a standpoint as a fan, right? Like, you can't say nothing because the man got hurt, but
as a fan, do you say, I know he's had an incredible run. Do you say, we need Achane to beat those guys. If we don't have him, we got no shot. Is he the savior? Do you feel, or is that's the fan in you, talking? Or do you actually feel?
I think Achane. It's funny, right? Like we flirted with every single running back this year in the NFL in the offseason. We did. We hey, how are you doing? You want to come? You want to come?
Homie from Indianapolis,
Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs,
everybody.
DJ Swift, just everybody. Jamal Williams, I think.
We were just loose out in the club, huh? We were
just
everybody drinks
in the club, flirting with every running back that there was.
Everybody get a drink, huh?
Hey, what's good? What's up? It's your boy, Miami Dolphins.
Sliding in DMs left and right.
Running back. And all the while, they never pulled the trigger on anything, right? And part of the reason for not pulling the trigger on anything was because of the ace in the hole that you had in the rookie named Devon Achane. Now, Devon comes in 4 out of the first 5 games, takes the league by storm, has the hottest start since Mike, I think it was Mike Davis. I think that the Denver Broncos running back in like 98 or 99 or maybe even 2000, and Barry Sanders in 98. Those were the only 2 running backs that had a bigger start than Devon Achane had. So for me, I'm sitting there saying, okay, we have our star running back. We have it's the first time in a long time where I'm like, I think we got our real number 1.
Yeah.
Right. I think we have a number 1 since Ricky. And I think he was the guy. His speed, everything about it was like, I love the kid. Yeah. So now he comes, and I was funny because yesterday on the show, I said, guys, at the end of the game, he came up limping, but nobody has said anything. So I'm guessing he's okay. And not an hour after my show ends yesterday, it comes out that he might have hurt himself. And then we heard the news this morning from Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelorissero. So I think the good news is he's not out for the year.
Right.
Is this going to affect his speed? Because sometimes a high ankle sprain can be worse than a break.
Yeah, but not with these young boys, not with these 20, 21-year-olds that heal like God is sitting in the room with them. These guys, I expect them to have a full recovery. And I'm looking at it this way. We got a whole extra game in the season now. There's gonna be more bodies that's beat up. I'm all right. I'm all right with him missing week 6 and week 7, if possible, for the stretch run, especially down at the end of the season when we got to play our divisional rivals, to make sure that we are locked up and locked in playoff positioning. Hey, let him take some rest off, and get back to that. I had a more interesting question because I didn't know. Do you know why he didn't play game 1? Was he hurt? Was there a reason he didn't play? They just didn't dress. They just didn't play him.
They just didn't play him. Like
I was wondering.
But it didn't matter. We were throwing the ball like crazy that game. For me. So look, the Dolphins are going to be fine. I know that in my heart of hearts. The Dolphins fan in me obviously feels some type of way. Has that PTSD. But at the end of the day, just looking around the NFL, I have to say, okay, the Dolphins are going to, they got a lot to do. They got a lot to kind of hang their hat on. And part of that is Mike McDaniel's play calling. Now, there have been times this season where I've scratched my head and been like, what are you doing? Last week, there was a couple of occasions on 3rd and short and 4th and short where he never even ran the ball. He was throwing passes. And I'm like, McDaniel, you got Achane back there. Bring him in the game and run the freaking ball. Didn't do it. So then I say to myself, okay, well, what can they do to obviously solidify this so that we're okay? So part of that is, seeing the NFL and seeing it for what it is. And that is, I can't question a guy who has given us 500 yards of total offense in every game for the first 5 games. First time that has ever happened in the history of the NFL. So I can't question McDaniel. But I know that personnel is a big part of the success. And the personnel is based on speed. And if you have speed and you know the playbook, you're going to be fine. Now, here's the thing. Dolphins have a lot of injuries. Jeff Wilson, who should be coming off, Zeke Vandenberg, linebacker. He's not that bad, good or bad. Jalen Ramsey, Robert Jones, Keon Crossan, River Craycraft, Teron Armstead.
Those are
And
big, a lot of big names.
Nick Needham is still on the PUP list.
And Needham is out as well.
Between Nick Needham, Jalen Ramsey, Keon Crossan, Robert Jones, River Craycraft, Teron Armstead, heck, even Jeff Wilson. When these guys start implementing themselves and coming back into the fold, I fully expect the Dolphins. It'll be just as good as getting a late season trade.
I agree with you. These guys
and
coming in for the last. Yeah, you imagine them coming out for the back 8, the back 9, or what do you say, the back 8? We're gonna come back in for the back 8 of the stretch run and give the Dolphins even more firepower on top of what they. I thought the defense is doing well. Kahu, number 4, I think he's played Cater Kahu. I mean, I know he got a lesson from Diggs.
He did.
He got a lesson. But he learned though. I've been looking for him to die, but he seemed like he bounced back a bit. So I'm actually intrigued in his growth and his process. Him taking over for Jalen Ramsey. He hasn't been like a beating horse. They haven't beating it. I know Diggs took care of him, but it's not like the rest of the teams are like, yo, there's a strong weakness, so we got to go attack that. He's been making plays as well. How about this? Is where my question is, man. For you, are you impressed with the offensive line? I know we had another bad snap.
Hey, real quick, just as a side note, I didn't realize Ryan Hayes was signed back to the Miami Dolphins practice squad. I was on the roster. He was the 7th round pick we had on the O-line, and he got claimed by the Colts to be on their active squad, and then he was waived on the September 19th, and on September 22nd, he was signed back to the Dolphins practice squad. So I didn't know that. So that's very interesting. Go ahead.
So we got a question? We had a question.
Yeah, Stephen D. This is the time for Jeff Wilson to prove he deserves to have a role in the team. I agree with that 100%.
But when Achane comes back, how does he have a role? I like that. Mostert is playing well. Achane is playing out of this world. When Achane comes back and he produces, where is a spot for Jeff Wilson unless someone gets hurt? Like, that's the struggle I have in terms of placing Jeff Wilson and getting consistent minute, because once in this league, once a guy is showing that he's the man, you got to continue doing that. And Achane has showed that. Yes, he's hurt. So Wilson does have an opportunity, but I don't know if he's going to ball out of control enough to be able to take that roster spot away from Achane when he comes back. Now, can you be a contributor for these next 2-3 weeks? Of course, but moving forward from that, I don't see him doing a whole lot of work with Achane and Mostert with the way they've started this season. That's just my opinion. Maybe to get value, and possibly, be able to play for another team. That can be some love for Jeff. That's what my motivation if I was Jeff Wilson. Let me go out here, ball. There might not be a spot on this squad for me, but
so here's the thing. Jeff Wilson is here now. He needs to play. And he needs to step up, right? But no matter who's in the game, they need to step up, right? Devon Achane has had multiple games in the last couple of years where we've been like, if you all just give this man a chance and let him get the rock, he can prove to be a really good running back. So let's say Jeff Wilson doesn't step up for whatever reason. Devon Achane's next man up and needs to be doing it, right? And we've even seen Christopher Brooks, who I like a lot, also have a very limited and short success, but I mean, he's got potential. So I think the Dolphins already base their backup players based on the personnel that they want. The issue is they're not that high value the way, Devon Achane is, or Tyreek Hill, or whoever. For example, the Chase Claypool signing. I love the Chase Claypool signing. I think it's a win-win situation for the Dolphins. They get a guy who was a first-round pick, absolutely, looked great in Pittsburgh that first year, had a lot of potential. And then obviously fell out.
He went to Chicago. He
gets traded to Chicago because of the fallout. Then in Chicago, he's considered a problem child. There's no other way for me to say it.
There'd be a problem if I wasn't getting the ball either.
Well, exactly. And so, and here's the thing. I have learned through the TO and Chad Ochocinco stuff that I'm not worried about if a guy's a diva or considered a problem. Because I know that a lot of those guys, not every single one of them, but I think it's probably unfair for me to compare Chase Claypool to Chad Ochocinco and T.O., who's a Hall of Famer.
Fair.
But I think it's low risk, high, super high reward, because if Chase Claypool turns out to be anything, it's a win for the Dolphins. They switched late round picks, and he only cost $2.1 million. So I would love to see in red zone situations for the Dolphins, Chase Claypool really show out this week.
Fade,
and by the way, if Chase Claypool fully dresses, even if he plays 5 or 6 plays, I fully expect Chase Claypool to get a couple of first downs and maybe even a touchdown. Like he won't get a lot of playing time, but the limited amounts he get, they're going to target him.
Yeah, I mean, in those situations, depending on what it is, you know who our 1 and 2 is, Waddle and Hill. But when you're mixing up around,
River Craycraft was big too, and then he got hurt. He got
hurt, but
so he's going to fill in that role that River was having. He's not there yet. He doesn't know the playbook like that yet. But once he does, at least the hope is he can turn out to be that fill-in that River was while River's hurt.
I think Claypool, depending on the situation, fits in well because, like you said, he's a big body. He can get in front of receivers. He can catch over the middle. He can catch the fade route. He can play the slot. He can play outside. See, when you have players like Barrios can't play on the outside. He's a slot receiver, full stop, done. You know, Wilson.
I would like to see him return kicks better personally, but that's just
fair. That's fair.
I don't think that we give him an opportunity to. Like, I think our special teams is at best.
So I think that third receiver, because I don't know what Cedric Wilson is doing. I know he's on the squad, but I don't know. I don't see him. I haven't seen number.
So I said at the beginning of the year it was Tyreek Jalen. By the way, Jalen got his first touchdown of the year last week.
Right? Congratulations to Mr. Waddle. First Waddle of the year.
First Waddle of the year. And then third, in my opinion, was between River Craycraft and Robbie Chosen. Everybody kind of looked at me like you're crazy. I'm like, no, I'm not. I promise you I'm not. And Barrios hasn't turned out to be the explosive person. Now he hasn't gotten an opportunity to be.
Yeah, they haven't needed him. He's like that third
down. Okay, I get it. I understand that. But I knew what River Craycraft could be for the team, and I'm really upset that he was hurt. The same way I am Devon Achane.
Right.
Because I think both of them could have contributed very nicely over the next 4 to 6 weeks. Now, with that being said, Chase Claypool, as long as he adapts to the playbook, because by the way, your boy here for months said, everybody in the chat said, Eric Ezukama.
You did too.
No, I said, here's what I said, Genesis.
What do you say?
I said the reason that man didn't dress last year was because he didn't know the playbook. And until I see him knowing the playbook, which means he's dressing every Sunday and getting significant playing time, he doesn't know the playbook. Is his raw talent, athletic ability there? Of course it is. What are they saying about Eric Ezukama right now? Doesn't know the playbook. He can't grasp it. He is, and that's the thing. There are some players that come in and are just now. To be fair, everybody last year said, yeah, it was difficult learning this playbook. But Eric Ezukama has an issue because he hasn't grasped it. Like he's not there. So, you know, for me, I'm looking around the NFL, I'm looking around the roster, and I'm saying Eric Ezukama is not the solution. Braxton Berrios doesn't seem to be the solution. I'd like him to be, but he doesn't. Robbie Chosen has had a couple of good plays. They said he's injured, Steven. When did he get injured? 2 weeks ago?
After the touchdown against Denver?
Are you kidding me?
Who's injured? Ezukama or Chosen?
Ezukama. When did Ezukama get injured? Because it was clearly said that he was not understanding the playbook. Okay? So
is that some PR, you know?
So I look, as far as I'm concerned, he doesn't know the playbook until he knows it. You can say all you want about his injury or whatever. Don't care. He doesn't know the playbook until he knows. 2 weeks ago. Okay. And he wasn't getting a lot of playing time then.
I saw him in the preseason, get some love here and there.
He gets love in the preseason. That man balls out in the preseason in vanilla-based offenses against vanilla-based defenses.
Correct.
He balls out. His raw athletic ability is straight. Nobody's arguing or disagreeing with that. But but I'm not seeing him make it, you know. That's why I think Chase Claypool, by the way, Chase Claypool's here for a reason. And in my opinion, it's because you have this talent who is clearly better than anybody who would even be remotely considered number 3 or 4 on this roster.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, Chase Claypool's here because his raw athletic ability is here. I was about to say he's on the non-football injury. You're right. You're right about that.
Non-football injury means you suck.
I don't trust Eric Ezukama. Stop it. Just
imagine you come into practice, you be like, all right, Achane, you go down there, you go get some work. All right, Armstead, I know you got to get your ankle in. All right, cool. Ezukama, you just sit here.
You just sit here because you don't know the playbook, sir.
You know when the teacher calls you?
Reserve non-football injury. Okay?
You know when the teacher says, yo, you got to sit next to my desk because you've been misbehaving? That's what Mike McDaniel has him in the office say, sit next to my desk so you can see everything that I'm doing.
Look, you ready? He played 3 games this year. Okay. Well, he had an opportunity to play in 3 games this year. Got nothing against the Chargers. Got 2 attempts for 17 yards. Nothing. And he had 3 attempts for 5 yards against the Patriots, and then had nothing against the Broncos. No. What I need fans to do right now is take accountability. Raise your hand and say Eric Ezukama is not the guy. Go ahead and say it with me. Eric Ezukama is not the guy. Because he's not.
He's not.
Stop trying it. This let's get on Eric Ezukama train. Stop it. I don't want to hear it.
You think it's done? It's not like Bright Line. We're not going north. We're not. No.
I don't want to hear anything about a neck injury or any of this stuff. I don't want to hear it. I am not a betting man. I am not a betting man. I have not bet since August 13th, 2017. But EGJ Genesis, if I was ever remotely close wanting to gamble, it would be right now to say that Eric Ezukama will never be a good player for the Miami Dolphins.
Hot Take Tuesdays, I got something for you. Just came to my head. I need you. Because last year, X was getting some heat. There was time he was getting burnt. There were times where offenses would just strategically throw the ball at the receivers, and not even the number 1 receivers. And I felt bad because I ain't gonna lie, Xavier Howard is one of my favorite players. And this year, when he's a number 1 guy, and I mean, granted, he didn't take that Diggs matchup, but anyways, outside of that, I think he's playing phenomenal football as a number 1 DB coming off injuries last year. I think X is getting back to his Pro Bowl status. Is that too much of a hot take, or am I right about that? Remember, he doesn't have Ramsey on the other side. He has K who's not really known, and he's really the man in that DB. You know what I mean? Is X getting up to that level now? Because I think, with Nick Fangio, he's looking really good, man.
So here's my take on X.
Appreciate that.
X is on the downside of his career.
Right.
That's that. There's no
be real.
He's on the buck. The reason that X failed, maybe that's a strong word. Struggled. How about struggled?
Okay, that's fair.
Was the onus was put on him in an injury-riddled secondary.
Correct.
So he's facing the number 1s for almost every team last year. The next best corner last year was Kader Kahu, who was a rookie last year, an undrafted rookie last year, who went above and beyond and exceeded expectations. I think it was unfair to treat the fan base to treat X the way that they treated him last year. But you got to call a spade a spade. He wasn't producing, but he was also hurt. Though he was being put in situations that he wasn't going to excel in.
Right,
he just wasn't. So I look at that and I say this year, okay, all right, we got the players here, and you're right, he played with a groin injury too, but fact of the matter is he was out there playing.
Yeah, once you're on the field, we don't want no excuses, right?
So, and I'm not going to use that as an excuse. I'm just going to say he didn't produce the way I needed him to produce it. But I also think that it was unfair to kind of put that onus on him. Now, this year, let's fast forward to this year. Can X face Stephon Diggs? I don't know. I know Cater Kahoo shouldn't have been the guy facing Stephon Diggs in that Buffalo game. I think X should have gotten an opportunity.
I got to take on that when you're done.
My gut feeling is X would have gotten burned too. But nonetheless, I think X can handle number 2s and lower any day of the week. And he can probably handle a third of the number 1 receivers in the NFL. But those elite receivers or even right below elite receivers, I don't know if I want X on them. But what do you have to offer right now? Cater Kahoo? Well, I know that Cater Kahoo's had one bad game in his entire career, and that was the Buffalo game. That was against Stephon Diggs. So I look at that and I say, excuse me, I say, X is doing what I need him to do. He's being a leader. He's producing. He's giving me everything that I need. And by the way, quarterbacks are not throwing it his way this year.
That's what I'm talking about. Last year,
they're not throwing it X's way. If they're not throwing it X's way, he's getting the respect from opposing quarterbacks to say, I ain't throwing it over there because X is over there. I'm not doing that.
And yesterday, he had a big pass breakup on Waller in the end zone.
Waller's been a disappointment, but also he has Daniel Jones throwing to him.
I mean, that goes without saying. But I'm just still saying, when he got the ball yesterday, Waller was moving. I believe he had 87 yards. And every time he caught the ball, I was like, okay, this is the Waller, because he's on my fantasy team. So I'm also looking for him to produce. So I saw him.
Fantasy, let's go.
He's putting in work. So I thought that pass breakup by X going in could have gave the Giants some life. You never know what can happen in the NFL game. And the fact that he was able to get in between that pass with a bigger receiver, just tells me the versatility he's coming with this year. And I just want to show him some love right here on Clock Blockers, you know what I'm saying? Showing some love to X, because I know we were killing him last year. We were killing him.
I mean,
probably want to trade him.
Fair, rightfully so.
I know. But he done so well for us. I always give a pass sometimes.
I say rightfully so and unfair, which contradicts each other.
But, they do.
But when you just said it, when you're on the field, there is no excuses. You have to produce. But we also know, come on, man.
It comes with a grain of salt, I guess. You're holding them accountable with a grain of salt.
100%. Now, here's the other thing. And we talked about this a lot last year because of all the injuries we had. I just went ahead and told you everybody who's, on this injury-riddled roster.
You named some pretty good names, man.
I named some names, okay? And
sorry to cut you, Steven, but I'm here looking at Vegas. They're showing their Stanley Cup ring now. I'm like, that hurt. That could have been us. Anyways.
Boy, that hurt.
It hurt, man. I'm watching them. They're talking about the ring and how many diamonds it has for the Vegas Knights.
The Dolphins are going to get the Super Bowl ring this year, and we're going to make do. And then the Florida Panthers, and then the Miami Heat. We didn't even get talking about Jimmy Butler there yet. But we'll get into that in a little while. So Teron Armstead, River Craycraft, Keon Crossen, Robert Jones, Jalen Ramsey, Zeke Vanderberg, Jeff Wilson, and according to you guys, Eric Ezukama. Okay. The training staff has some accountability to this too, right? Injuries happen in football.
Here go a hot take, boy.
Injuries happen in football. I'm not saying that they don't.
Hold on, Steven. Some people about to get some heat that they did not even know was coming their way.
I mean, I called it out last year, and I'm doing it again this year because now I'm starting to see injuries here and there, and I'm like, hold up. What we not going to do as a team is say that we're not winning because of injuries. And I definitely don't want that to be the case. Now, I think Jalen Ramsey is going to be back in November. I think that Robert Jones is going to be back, and Keon Crossen and Teron Armstead. I think they'll all be back eventually. But what I don't want is why all these people are out now with Achane out, is for all of a sudden all these people to start going down like flies like they were last year. So in my opinion, here's what I'll say. The training staff, the trainers, the weight people in the weight room, the food management, the dietary specialist, all that, The onus is on them right now to make sure that these guys stay fit, stay strong. These guys better be getting the sleep that they need. They need to be on their best. Okay. And you laugh and there's some funny to kind of say that, but if they're not performing at their physical best, we right now is such an important, like the next 4 weeks, we have Philadelphia and we got to travel to Germany to face Kansas City.
We got a gauntlet coming up.
We got to be our physical best over the next 4 weeks. And we don't have all of our best playing. We don't have Jalen Ramsey. He's not going to be there. We don't have Teron Armstead. He's not going to be there. We don't have Robert Jones. He's not going to be there. We don't have Nick Needham. It sounds like he's not going to be there. River Craycraft's not going to be there. Devon Achane might not be there. I know that it sounds ridiculous what I'm saying, but I promise you right now, in my opinion, the most important people in the Dolphins organization is the training staff, the weight management team, the food, like all this stuff, sleep management. Like that's where you're going to win. Like, because we have the talent to win. I'm not worried about the talent. And I'm not worried about the play calling all that much because we have 5 games of 500 total yards or more. So I can't even be mad when McDaniel does run or throw the ball 3 times when it's on 3rd and short and 4th and short. I'm just saying.
So you called out the training staff, and rightfully so. We got to keep guys on the field, make sure their injuries, are taken care of. But I also think that they are so nervous about Tua because that's not a story anymore. Remember his concussions, him being able to stay on the field, putting him in before he was supposed to, and all these particular things the last 2 years. The training staff has been under so much pressure taking care of Tua and making the right decisions when it came to him the last 2 years. I think they still think that they're ahead because he's not getting hit and putting up gang signs and putting up all this particular stuff like it was happening last year. And that was obviously a part of their responsibilities to make sure that he is. So since he's been upright and we've been playing well, I think they're taking this as a win. Like, all right, we'll get these guys back for the stretch run. But as long as one stays upright and he's not in any concussion protocols and he's good, I think they think that they're doing an A1 job compared to
people are clowning me in the chat, and that's fine. You can clown me, but I clearly remember multiple conversations last year when people were up here talking about, man, the part of the reason we have all these injuries in the secondary is because maybe the training staff isn't doing their job. The weight trainers aren't doing their job to be able to make sure that they're not getting this. You want that to occur again? Make sure that those guys are doing their job right now over the next 4 weeks.
I mean, it's hard for me to really establish a training staff like in terms of injuries because football is such a brutal sport. So how do we rate it? Do we say the Bills training staff, or that's more the medical staff that helped?
Well, I mean, that's what I'm talking about, like the training and medical staff.
So,
right?
but I'm saying, how do we equate that by players?
Like everybody has a program. Like all these players have programs that they're like weight programs and
I know, but football is such a brutal sport. Saquon Barkley, I don't think the Giants thing is that crazy. He goes into the hole, his ankle gets turned, he's out for 4 weeks. Is that the trainer's fault? I more think trainers.
So think about it like this. Think about it like this. Think about it like this. When you all are, let's talk about a guy who has a problem with hamstrings or Achilles, right? And he has a history of this. They should be every week working out that hamstring, working out, the Achilles, doing, I don't know the correct terminology to use in the gym of what you would do in the gym, but he needs to be doing the correct exercises to do those things. Now, an average player might do that 10, 15 minutes a day or 10, 15 minutes once a week. He needs to be doing it 20 to 30 minutes a day to make sure that come the fourth quarter,
it's strong.
When he still has the muscle capacity to be able to do that. So, and I'm talking about guys who have a history of this stuff, right? The Dolphins have an injury bug history the last couple of years. Let's call a spade a spade. And right now is that around that time where things either go really bad for us on the injury side or really good. And the Devon Achane injury has me sweating bullets. So to me, the medical staff, the physical training staff, even the people that deal with their diets and their sleep are the most important people in the Dolphins in organization right now, because we have a history over the last couple of years of this being a problem. So you guys can laugh at me in the chat and say that I'm wrong. Dude, that's a wild, crazy take. You're talking, call it what it is. I know that the game is physical. I know that the game is brutal. I understand all that. I'm telling you about taking every single precaution to make sure that these things don't occur.
I think
that we can prevent them the best way possible. And that starts with, what are they doing Monday through Saturday?
Okay.
What are they doing when they're not in practice? Zach Seiler is probably in the best shape of his career. Andrew Van Ginkel is probably in the best shape of his career. And both of those guys are having career years. And I can directly affiliate it to, they've gotten better every year. They're learning, they're just getting better, more involved. They're growing, but they're physical. They're like, when you come into the league, you're not the way. Look at Tua. You think Tua's so good that, like, the last 3 years, the man has been training with Nick from Performance. Been doing everything. And so for me, I look at it and I say, part of his success, not all of it, but part of it is because he is a lot stronger physically.
Yeah, we don't want him playing for the Crips or the Bloods. You know what I'm saying? Falling out, putting
That's
up
a
games.
bad joke, DJ. They're going to get you on that one.
I'm just saying,
that's all DJ Jonas's joke.
I don't need him representing them type of signals. You know what I'm saying? I need him to put up the signal, say one, go deep,
that's
all that
stuff. DJ.
Hey, but you were getting on the trainers, and the trainers don't keep him upright.
I'm turning my camera off. I'm not in that one. Nope, not getting me. I'm not in that. Y'all cancel DJ Genesis. Don't cancel me.
Hey, we like controversy right here. It's all good, man. As long as he's not throwing up them signs,
we're good.
And he was, and we were worried. When he did that, we were like, "Yo, what's going on here?" So
we were.
Now, Tua, I don't even know how many times he's been sacked this year. He's probably one of the least sacked quarterbacks. I'm gonna throw that out there. Is he? Somebody help me out in terms of his. But we haven't seen him dying like I saw Daniel Jones dying on Sunday. I thought Tua's been upright for the most part this season. You don't get 500 plus yards a game when your quarterback is on the floor. So they've been a great job. I don't know. That's what
Steven, what in the world makes you think the team's medic staff and trainers are not on top of their players? I mean, that's clear. You can go look at the injury for the last 2 years for the Dolphins. Dolphins are have the highest rate of injury. I don't think they're the highest, but I think they're in the top of the NFL for injuries over the last 2 years.
I mean, we have to look that up. I just think it's such a rough sport, and it's hard to blame a training staff for injuries in the NFL. Now equate to the NBA. If you have a injury-riddled team for a long time in the NBA, we definitely look at that training staff and that weight training staff and be like, come on, guys, because it's not as a physical sport. You shouldn't be having reoccurring injuries like that all the time.
And Jose Valdez to say, hey, Steven, I guess Justin Jefferson wasn't taking care of himself. No, let's call a spade, okay? The Dolphins have a history of this problem with injuries, more so than other teams.
When you say injuries, you're talking about star impact players, not just run of the mill. You're talking about everybody. You're talking about great players that they should be monitoring more than others.
I think 100% that if Tua was playing last year in the playoff game, we would have won. But I also think had we had our starting secondary out there, we also would have won, even with Skylar Thompson playing in that game. There were multiple injuries last year, multiple. And it wasn't just Tua. It wasn't just Tua's concussions. It was we just had a whole 10-minute conversation about Xavier Howard and why X was put in a situation last year that he shouldn't have been in because of injuries.
Now you got some.
So for me, it's a track record. It has nothing to do with, oh my God, the freak injuries that happened this year. Well, let's go look at the last 2 years. Well, those are a lot of freak injuries. Well, what can we do to prevent these freak injuries from happening? I'm not saying it's not a brutal sport. I'm not saying injuries don't happen. I am telling you that I'm about sick of, okay, 1 player down, 2 player down, 4 players down, 10 players down, 15 players down, 16 players down.
I hear what you're saying.
Seasons.
I hear what you're saying, especially when those injuries come back and creep,
Correct.
bite us in the back, especially in the playoff game, like against the Bills.
We have the talent. I get the next man up mentality, but guys.
My biggest argument is, do we blame it on the training staff? I'm okay with somebody holding it accountable. I'm just wondering, in football, is that the route to go? And I don't know the answer to that. That's all I'm saying. I don't know the answer to that. But you do.
Even has been saying when someone gets injured for Miami, they are out forever and a day. The rehab is sus.
I mean, if you got some meat on that bone, you know what I mean?
Sometimes Steven says things out of emotions, not logic, just saying it is logic.
They put a drink in there too. They say
it is logic.
I'm not mad at the logic. I just don't know if that's the answer when it comes to football in terms of because it's such a brutal sport. I mean, but yes, you have to have right training staff to make sure your players get back right. I mean, yes, I think you got some meat on that bone to a degree. I do. I do hear the fans saying that, hey, players get hurt. It is what it is. But if you got a plethora of injuries just over and over and it's killing your success rate, especially deep in the season, I could understand your argument.
So,
it's kind of like they're coming at you like they came at me saying Tua can't throw the deep ball. It's funny how the weeks have changed.
Since 20.
Oh, Steven went to go do his research. Yeah,
I did. I'm looking. Yeah, I'm looking.
I don't know how you're gonna find those numbers since 2020. I mean, the injuries begin. We've been blessed this season. I mean, Achane has been tough. Armstead, but we've been playing well. That's what I like about the team so far. Like, even though we've been injured, offensive line getting banged up here and there, still got the most yards.
I can't find the numbers right now.
Rushing league.
I'm gonna find them.
We got the most yards through 5 games. So even with the injuries, if you're gonna kill the training staff, I'm gonna show hella love. I'm gonna show hella love to the coaching staff. We got the training staff. The training staff is gonna get you gonna hang them out to dry. I gotta make sure that the coaching staff, whoever's covering it for the players that are injured, offensive line. We're not even playing with the real center. I think he's like a backup. And
no, Connor played last.
Connor played yesterday?
Yes.
Okay,
and let me tell you, it was a night and day difference. Like
it was okay.
It was a night and day difference.
I know that was a big thing for you.
I think I will struggle saying anything bad about it because for the simple fact that I don't want Eichenberg playing. I mean, I still feel a little bit the same way I feel about Connor. I'm just not going to verbalize it, okay? Okay. As much as I did. All right, Mike. I actually, out of all the things that have been said to me in the chat about my take, that is one that I can actually hear the argument and say, you know what, you're right. Chris Grier is known to get injury-prone players. Let's be honest. That plays a part into this. So you're right. I can sit here and say I can be a little bit critical of the training staff and the medical staff and the team, but our GM does get injury-riddled players, and that has to play a part into it because it is a known fact that once you get an injury in the NFL, you are more likely to get injured again. Like the injury rate is higher on a player that's injured or has been injured in the past compared to a player that hasn't been, so I get it. I understand that.
My goal this season.
I can hear that argument, and I think that's a good one, and that's one I'll have to think about.
That's what I'm saying. Like y'all got some meat on this bone here. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about it, so I'm gonna leave y'all aficionados.
Aficionado. If you don't know how to say aficionado, you are not one. Thank you.
I'm gonna leave it to the aficionados and the training and the injury. I just think it's such a brutal sport. It's hard for me to gauge that. But the coaching staff. But I would say this: if Tua stays up for 17 games in the playoffs, Tyreek Hill doesn't get out. Boy, Tyreek Hill almost tweaked something like a week ago, and I got a little nervous. I got a little nervous.
I'm sorry, your conclusion Therefore, training staff does not logically follow. You have found yourself in a fallacious
reasoning.
Love William.
You just got to call them
Shut
staff.
up, Alabama Creole guy that you are. Nobody's worried about your Alabama, your Tuscaloosa, your Tuscaloosa.
What are you talking about? Teachings?
You
there you go. Oh man, Alabama doing well? Are they still at the top of the?
Not Alabama.
I don't know.
I absolutely want to see further lightning now of Chris Brooks and Mozart. That would be good. We also have. I
don't know much about Chris Brooks, so I'll be interested to see how that works.
I mean, it depends. Like for me, I think Devon Achane probably going to get a huge opportunity, depending on how long he's out for. That's probably kind of how I think about that. But
okay,
here's another thing to all this, right? So part of what I think that the Dolphins are going to have to do moving forward is maybe make a couple of more deals. So we made the trade for Chase Claypool. Do the Dolphins go after another center just in case something does happen? Do they go after somebody else that on the, Isaiah Wynn went down for a little bit, came back, supposedly is all right, but he has an injury past too. Do the Dolphins go out and get another offensive lineman from it? So the reason I say that before you go is I'm looking at the teams with bad records. And I'm starting to take mental notes of good players on those bad teams. And I'm like, is Chris Breer making phone calls? Because I would like for him to be making some phone calls. I would love to see the Dolphins make 2 or 3 other trades.
I think you would be in the hen house for the Minnesota Vikings for real, huh? You'd just be in a hen house saying, let me get that one. Because they were such a good team last year.
And I'll tell you right now, I hope all the Dolphin scouts, a lot of them are here this weekend in Miami when Carolina's in town. And because a team's 0-5 or 0,
don't mean that they don't have impact.
Don't mean they don't have good talent on their team somewhere.
So NFL is a parity. A lot of people are good. That's why it comes down to coaching staffs and schemes and so on and so forth. Because mostly everybody's on pretty much the same level. We all in the pros. All right, another hot take Tuesday. Forget Carolina. I'm jumping over them. Let's look at Philly. We got potentially, if things go well, we should have a 6-0 team and a 5-1 team. I know.
You want to go?
I'm jumping over Carolina. I'm not even concerned with them. Should get the W.
Since 2015, the Dolphins are in the middle of the pack in injuries. Your theory is wrong. Here are the 10 most injured since 2015. So because
somebody coming with the stats.
So timeout. So because they're not top 10, that theory doesn't calculate. That's that. So they're not top 10. They're not at the bottom.
You give them a C.
So they're not the least injured team. Okay. The least injured team is the Kansas City Chiefs, 220, and Philadelphia Eagles. Look, I want you to look at something right now. This is since 2015. The Chiefs and the Eagles and the Bills have probably been the best teams in the last 3 or 4 years,
and
right?
They have the most injuries, isn't it?
Or they have the least amount of injuries. Go look on the right.
Oh, that's least. Okay, least. Okay, I'm sorry. Least,
the most injured teams are the
Tennessee,
Titans,
New York,
the Giants, the Patriots, the Broncos.
Baltimore might be the only team that had like some type of sustained success through that run.
Yep, that is good.
Yeah, everybody else is lines and
so my theory, I appreciate you bringing this up there, sir, because you got Baltimore and maybe the Cowboys there that are decent teams. It calculates, it tracks the least the least amount of injuries you have, the more likely your team is to be successful.
That totally because that goes into.
You just
depth.
showed me the numbers.
No, you're right. That goes into depth on your team. One player. That's why I thought Claypool was important. But I don't
look
know
at all these teams with least amount of injuries. You ready? Kansas City Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles, Buffalo Bills, Jacksonville Jaguars, Minnesota Vikings. I mean, Kirk Cousins.
No. Minnesota was
Green
solid
Bay
last year.
Packers. They've been in it since 2015 up until last year. Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Tomlin, great. Cincinnati Bengals. They went to a Super Bowl 2 or 3 years ago. Atlanta Falcons, Chicago Bears, So look, 70% of the teams that are least injured are good teams. 80% of the most injured players teams are bad teams. It calculates, it tracks.
So wait, so
There's a
so
difference.
to your point, because the better teams are less injured, you feel that training staff is more obviously.
I would take Kansas City Chiefs training staff all day over ours.
All right, there your point. There you go. I wonder if they cut the check as much.
Look, there are legs to my theory, okay, and we're walking with them.
You got some legs. Hey, you ain't see me back in it. You know, I'll definitely push back, but today I'm sitting in the zone. I don't know.
I think it's a good theory, and I see fan. Look, I love when a fan tries to call me out, and I still see I still see it working in my favor.
Hey, that's how it goes, man.
Like it works. I get it.
Hey, guess what? The Dolphins aren't on either of those lists, so let's try to get on the least injured and
I want to get on the least injured.
You know.
Jose says, Steven, your theory was still wrong. You're still trying to just be right. Stop with the nonsense. Just saying. Well, Steven, one of the best players will be hurt like Patty or Kelsey. LOL. Steven will die on this theory intake. I'm dying on this anthill. You daggone Skippy, boy.
Yeah, boy. He
definitely am.
He gonna die on. I think a lot of it, especially the fans, is because injuries, especially to our best player, Tua, last year and the year before, was so impactful to our season. So we didn't even pay attention to the smaller ones. And I think because you're such a diehard fan, you're like, all right, Tua's fine. But if he does get knocked down, you're like, I don't trust them. I think that's what you're saying without saying it. I look at all these other injuries here. These guys are getting hurt. What if Tua or Tyreek actually get popped or something?
You better, hey, knock on wood. I'm not playing.
Knock on wood. But I'm just saying, I'm trying to help your theory in terms of saying I don't trust my training staff to get guys back fast enough.
Look, it's not about the star players getting injured. It's also about the players behind. Like last year, how many injuries did we have in the secondary?
I agree, but if Tua was there, we would have still thought that we had a chance to win.
Of course,
when your A1 goes down.
Well, Genesis, you want to know why? Because quality or great quarterbacks, which Tua is, overcomes a lot of inefficiencies.
I agree, but if that quarterback is hurt, you're gonna go ahead and look at all the other injuries and say, "Yo, we can't get our thing together because our main prize is not on the field." So you understand how the domino effect of killing the training staff, especially when your best player is not playing in crucial games?
I do. I mean, look, it's I'm trying to figure out how to say this. I think that when you look at the Dolphins, we talk about, all right, as a fan base, we always give crap to Bills fans because they're like, oh my God, the sun. Oh my God, Jacksonville didn't have to travel. They got to stay in London, and that's why they beat us, because they didn't have to travel and we had to shut up, Buffalo Bills fans. But to be fair to the process, yes, there's always something that makes a difference in why a team plays one way or plays another, right? Like those things do play a difference into it. But we can do things to prevent those, right? Like teams, for example, what we did on the West Coast last year. It didn't help us, to be fair. It's probably a bad example, but we stayed on the West Coast for 2 weeks. We didn't come back. To me, that's a medical thing, and okay, we're going to stay here. We're going to get mentally acclimated to the time difference. We're not going to have to worry about our bodies going back and forth between coasts. It just made sense. To me, that's part of a smart medical and physical choice and mental choice, which to me is part of medical
and financial as well. You know, I think.
I mean, maybe, but they're still an NFL team.
I know, but they still trying to save a couple.
I'm not going to say anything financially was why, but I just think that look, here's the deal. I need the Dolphins to be healthy. And I do think that Jalen Ramsey is going to be back in November. I do think that we're going to see a lot of these guys back in November and December. And that's a good thing because
what would we rather?
We'll hopefully be hitting our stride then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What would we rather if we were to we would take the best of the worst? I would rather Achane be hurt now, good for after week 10. I'm just saying, if I had to take the best. Would you rather him balling out and then week 10 is like, yo, he's out for 5 weeks? You're like, yo, you've kind of gotten an emotional grasp towards him. Now he's becoming a favorite player. We got jerseys selling. Now he's out. Now he's grabbed our hearts, but we still rooting for him because we got more ammo in the in the gun. So I look at it as a benefit now because when he gets acclimated, you know what I'm saying, mind is right. We should be good, especially the Jalen Ramseys and those veterans. Those veterans are going to come back after week 10. I think the Dolphins are going to be all right, especially because we're boasting. Yeah, we're boasting a 5-1 record right now.
So, all right, this question was posed to me yesterday, Genesis, and I'm going to ask you the same question that was posed to me.
Okay.
If the Dolphins lose to the Eagles, the Chiefs, and the Bills again, it gives them 4 losses on the year, but they win every other game. So they end up what 13 and 12 and 4.
Yeah,
12 and 4. They'll end up 12 and 4.
Okay,
that's 16 games. They'll end up 12 and 4.
Don't we play 18 games? So 17.
There's 17 weeks.
No, there's 18 weeks.
18 weeks, 17 games. All right, so they'll be 13 and 4. So if the Dolphins end up 13 and 4, but their 4 losses are 2 against Buffalo, Eagles, and the Chiefs.
Fraud.
How do you view the season?
Fraud.
You think we're frauds?
Yeah.
No.
For sure. Yeah.
No.
Because if you lose all the games to the top teams, you didn't say we went 2-2 or we went 1-3. So you can at least look and say, we went to Germany. We gave the Chiefs, a run for their money, and we were able to get that W. All right. With Buffalo, we were able to split. We lost up there, we won down here. And and then the other team was what was the other top team you said? Philly. You know what? We lost to Philly. Philly's on a whole other trajectory. We were on the road, and we went 2-2. I could respect 2-2 against the big dogs than 0-4. I cannot be thinking about the next level. Maybe where we're coming from. You know what I'm saying? Not making the playoffs. Barely making the playoffs last year, losing on the road to now being 13-4, a possible bye going into the playoffs. There will be respect on the Dolphins, but your heart of hearts, when you go and play those big dogs, you're going to be like, I don't know yet. That's all I'm
question
saying.
It, but I'm not going to say we're frauds.
If we go 0-4 this season with the offense looking the way it is and all us champion that because Tua was hurt last year and we cannot beat top dogs, I'm gonna call fraud a little bit. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna call.
So all right.
Fraud. Is fraud a tough word? Is that too aggressive?
I don't like the word fraud. I think so. Look, there are some other people in the community that are clearly saying the Dolphins are frauds right now, and I think that is incorrect, very incorrect, and I think that it's not fair to them. Now, I don't think it is.
We beat the Patriots.
Time out. Just listen.
Go ahead.
You're going to learn something here, Genesis.
You'll learn something. All right, go ahead, boss. Go ahead.
We lost to a division opponent who has owned us in Buffalo for the last 4 or 5 years, even more than that. Josh Allen has won 9 out of 10 games against us. The man has our number. It is what it is. It's a divisional opponent, so be it. But he can be beat. We clearly beat him last year in Miami.
Right.
And we know that they can be beat just in general, especially what Jacksonville did to them. Okay, so I'm not worried about losing to there are plenty of years where the Dolphins sucked. But, man, they could beat the Patriots. And the Patriots were winning Super Bowls in that time.
Correct.
Tom Brady could not stand playing us because he knew it was a possible L. Because we got inside his head, we knew how to play him. So I take that same mentality and I say, look, that's Buffalo to us right now. It is what it is. Okay, I'm not mad at it. I'm upset at it. I wish we could be better, but I understand what that is. So let's take the other 4 games. Let's go, or the other 3 games. Buffalo again in Miami, Philly in Philly, and Chiefs in Germany. If the Dolphins lose those games and they're close, we need to do better. We need to step up, but we're not frauds. Now, if we get killed in those other 3 games, the way we got killed by Buffalo, I can hear that. Maybe I can have the conversation. Maybe.
Okay, so you're saying if they show up in Philly,
and I still will
like how the Cowboys showed up in San Francisco, we're frauds. But if we keep it close and it's a close game,
But is
we're
it
in the
all right?
fight.
So I hate that I'm saying this. Oh my God, it's making me sick to my stomach what I'm about to say. The Cowboys, Dak Prescott had the worst game of his career. One. They were facing look, it is the San Francisco 49ers, and then there's a big drop off. Well, it's the San Francisco 49ers drop off, significant one, not a big one, significant one. Philadelphia Eagles drop off, then probably us, then drop off.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And Buffalo Bills are probably right there. Maybe they're a
Kansas
little bit
City's in
above
there.
us. Maybe they're a little bit below us. So
Kansas
it's
City.
Bills, Dolphins right there.
Now you got to give Lions some love. I give them over the Bills.
I'm just telling you how I see it, right?
Okay.
So I look at that and I say to myself, okay, if we lose close games against these teams, we're learning, we're evolving. This is like we're playing against elite talent. But if we beat everybody else and we handedly beat everybody else, we get into the playoffs, we got a shot. Okay. We know how we lost against those teams. Now we know what it takes to beat those teams. We know what we need to do to get over that hump. We have to do it, but we'll know what it takes.
We know what it takes. I guess I'm looking at it like, because these, when the new boy comes on and these teams take it like, all right, these boys think they hot. They knew the hottest. What somebody called us the shining light on the top of the Christmas tree. They said that's what we are this season. But you got the regular decorations that's going to be around all the time, like Kansas City, Philadelphia, Buffalo, who know how to bring it when it's time to play. That's all I want to see from us. If we are competitive in those games, that's where where Mike McDaniel is taking the team when you see the confidence in them. So when we go to Germany, when we go to Kansas City or whatnot, when Buffalo comes back down here, those are the games you're looking for these guys to say, you know what? All right, those other games were nice. They were cute. We executed. Now it's time to really take it to the next level where the fans know we are here, and that's what, and I think that's the next level. Like, you're right. Maybe fraud was too much of a harsh word, because I guess the expectations for this offense that I have this year, nobody should be able to stop them. But, somebody's going to be able to get them a run for their money a little bit. So I'm looking for Mike McDaniel, again, to keep stepping it up, keep believing and encouraging these guys to come out gangbusters and not look at this. Don't play to the score. Don't play to your competition. Play to your skill set. And when we consistently keep doing that, and this game against Carolina, like you said, could be a trap game where you think that
I don't think it's a trap game.
Not a trap.
I said some fans have said that on social media.
No, the reason
I do not think it is.
This is what I think of a trap game. I'm not thinking of a trap game like we're gonna lose. I'm thinking a trap game where you don't come and play with your full potential because you don't think you need to. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, 2 is like, I could throw for 155 yards, dink and dunk. Tyreek runs it out. He gets a touchdown. You're up 14-0 so fast, and you're like, this is easy peasy. And then you got Philadelphia next week. So I think Carolina might be in for such a rude awakening in terms of how well we play, because we also know you cannot go into the following week mentally knocking yourself out if you don't play well against Carolina, because trust me, that will creep into Philadelphia, because Philadelphia ain't gonna come play no games. You can't mentally, do that against Philadelphia. So hopefully Mike McDaniel has these guys ready to play. Don't do like me. Don't do like me and skip over the week. That's what we do.
Look, I'm not skipping over the week. I think that Mike McDaniel will have them ready to play Carolina. Right. And I don't think it's a trap game. I think they're clearly. I think this is going to be a tune-up of, all right, what do we need to practice so that we're ready to face Philadelphia?
I agree with you. I think that's how we need to take it. We're at home. This is only our third home game.
It's fan club weekend. They know that. They're going to be ready to play for us. They're going to be ready to play. By the way, to finish the fraud conversation,
okay,
the Dallas Cowboys are probably frauds. Like, they're more likely frauds than we are.
No, for sure.
But to be fair, they face the best team in the NFL.
Yeah, but 42-10, bro. But 42-10 is
I mean, they face the best team in the NFL.
42-10. The Cowboys are supposed to be one of the best.
Let me ask
top
you,
5, right?
Do you think San Francisco loses a game this year? Like, I need to legit ask that question.
I mean, I gotta look at the schedule. Let me look at the schedule. 49ers schedule. Let me see who we got coming up here. All right, so we got They play Cleveland. They play Cleveland.
Kurt just donated $10 on Cash App to the show.
Shout out to Kurt.
Supporting the show. Love it, brother. Thank you, Curtis. I appreciate it, brother.
So we got Cleveland. In Cleveland, I think that's a W. They got Minnesota.
All right, so we'll do it. So Cleveland, that's a win for them. Vikings win. Bengals. That's good. I mean,
that's gonna be a good
the way
one.
the Bengals played in the first 3 weeks.
I know, but that could be a good one. That could be a good game. It'd be a good one. Obviously,
Jaguars.
That could be good as well. In Jacksonville, they got to come across. They got to fly across the country. Tampa Bay should be a W.
They're killing Tampa. They're beating. I think they're beating. Although Seattle, look, it's a divisional opponent.
Seattle's looking good, and then the big game December 3rd. What's going on there when they play Philly?
Yeah.
So they can end up with 2-3 losses and still be a dominant team. I mean, they got to play Baltimore as well.
Over under 2.5 or 3. I'll say over under 3. Over under 3 for them losing this year. Over under 3 games.
I'm gonna push.
You're gonna push.
I'm gonna push at 3. I'm gonna push at 3.
I'm gonna say as long as everybody's healthy. Because their training staff is really good. I'm going to say under. I think they're only going to lose like 2 games.
Okay.
I think they're the best team in the NFL.
They are. I remember we said that, and we were after the Dolphins went 3-0, and we were like, "Yo, the Dolphins." I still had.
It's crazy to think that we've had 5 games of 500 yards of total offense, and we're not the best team in the NFL.
We're not the best team.
That's crazy.
And the reason why I say that is those small little moments when I see Tua try to force it in there, pick 6, those particular things. I'm quoting this against San Francisco and Josh Purdy, not anybody else against anybody else in the league. When that guy goes against that defense that is supposed to be top tier in the NFL, and he puts up 4 touchdowns on them, and it looks like he can get any deep in cut that he wants, and he can get Deebo Samuel the ball anytime he wants, and George Kittle goes for 3 touchdowns, and McCaffrey can come out the backfield and get a couple of those little yards, and he's doing it that way against that defense. And then on the flip side, you got Dak Prescott throwing interceptions.
I don't want anybody to go ahead, finish your thing. Go ahead.
I'm saying you got Dak Prescott, he got more picks than the IG model, shout out to Simba for that, and so when you look at the 2 sides of it, who's supposed to be the better quarterback? Been in this for a longer time. And let's look at both defense. Both defense got studs. I know Diggs is hurt on the Dallas side, but Dallas still got some studs, Parsons and all these boys out here.
Dallas are frauds. That's a real fraud team. Okay, let's just be.
You know why? Hold on, before you go. Go ahead.
Kurt, they got Noah Igbenogany. They're gonna be fine. Okay, they got Noah.
They got Igbenogany. Your
they
boy.
Got Noah.
Diggs being out.
Don't worry, Diggs being out don't mean nothing. They got Noah, Kurt.
But not 42-10 different. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. Like 42-10 is a statement. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
What I don't want is anybody to say, "Oh, Steven, you were provided new information and didn't share because it didn't go again. It didn't fit your narrative."
Okay,
so I don't ever want to be considered that guy.
Okay.
So Stack says you're not going to win this, Steven D. SKPL. This is the average injuries from 09-010 season through 2022. The 2021-2022 season. So it wasn't even the 2020. It didn't have last year's injuries in it. Just to be fair. And it also has since 2009-2010. Okay, so
that's a long
some of those teams we just sucked. All right, and we had different training staffs probably. So look, let's be fair. Okay, so he has 9.93. I clearly see we're at the bottom where the Patriots are 17.73. So the Patriots, how many Super Bowls did they win in the 2010 era to 2020? 6. And they had the most injuries of anybody. Okay. Okay. I stand corrected, I guess. I stand corrected.
It's a tough argument to have, but I could understand.
You can make numbers look any way you want to skew it your way.
Are you more going on a feeling?
And by the way, on this one, it says the average is based on number of probable, questionable, PUP, injured reserve, doubtful, and out injuries reported from those years, 09-010 to 21 to 22. So you're right. the Patriots just put more people on their injury report. It doesn't mean that
they're
were
actually
injured.
hurt. Yeah, that's true. Okay. That's kind of like the NBA when they're when they're game managing these guys and they put them on the injury report, but we know they're not really injured. They're just resting.
Just stop it, Indy Stacks. You're embarrassing yourself.
Uh-oh. Now I love it. I love the back and forth. Shout out to the fans making sure that
I
they
do
hold
love
us
Indy Stacks trying to get me.
I
I do appreciate it.
They make sure to hold us accountable, and I respect that. Making sure that we know what we're talking about, because we're trying to show love to the masses and show the masses that we know what we're talking about. But
cologne for those nights when you don't want to. INT Stacks. This is good. I'll give this one to you.
This one's good. Stacks.
I like it. Reposted. That's good. That's good, Dak.
That's cleaning the suit too. Imagine you show up cleaning the suit, not trying to get
for those nights when you don't want to score.
Imagine you showing up in a suit like that, and you're like, "Nah, I don't want to score, but I'm wearing this. I'm wearing a cologne tonight." You know what I mean? It's called int. It's called int.
All right, man. So just to one more thing I do want to share real quick. One more thing, because I just want to get your take on this.
Yeah, we got to get out the day starting. Let's go. What's popping?
Save. Here we go. Let me pull this up on the screen. I need your take on this, man. I need your take, because I don't understand it. Hold on.
Before we get out of here, let me guess what he's gonna.
It's not pulling up. All right, I'll just have to do it up here. Here we go. I was trying to pull it up on the screen, but it wouldn't let me do that, so I'll just do it here.
What we got here?
I need an explanation. I need an explanation on this, bro. Okay.
Woo! You know what's funny about this?
He looks like Prince here. Blouses. The Dave Chappelle skit. Blouses.
I'm kind of mad. I grew up with two sisters. I have two sisters. I have a family full of women, and funny enough, when I saw it, a little bit pissed me off a little, because he didn't get it all the way right. He the edges was just dirty and nasty, and you know what I'm saying. He didn't seem like he committed to the role. He looked like one of the ladies that come outside the house and they just didn't get their hair done yet. The weave isn't in yet. They're going out. They're just going outside to go get the mail, and they're screaming at their daughter, "Get in the house!" That's what it reminds me of, one of those moms. And he had the Darth stuff with the pins in his eye. So I'm like, you got mosh pit versus like angry black mom vibes going in here where she's about to come at you.
He says he's emo. He's emo.
Yeah, he looks emo. It's all over the place. He's right. He got emo. I just need to know. I would say this, Steve.
I need an explanation.
Sometimes when you try to go viral, it goes wrong. Remember last year he did.
I'm not mad.
I'm not mad either.
I'm disappointed.
All right, you ever see one of those? There might be an art piece or someone does something to their car.
Is Timothy Butler trying to be the new Dennis Rodman? That's what I need to know.
He's not. I think he just likes conversational pieces. He's not trying to do things to get you out there. Like last year, he had the dreads. We were like, "Yo," I was like, "Yo, Rastaman, why go on, Rastaman?" And he had the dreads. Obviously, it's a ploy. I do think he should be better at attention seeking. That's all I'm saying. I think in this day and age, if you're gonna do some attention seeking things, you should probably be better at it. I don't think those two attention seeking things with the hair. Don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? He might be doing it for fun, but it is seeking a bit of attention. We're talking about it now. Got him some clicks, got him some 100%. Views. But I guess he's like, all publicity is good publicity, even if it's,
is all publicity good publicity?
If you talk to some PR managers, they would say so. But let me say this, Jimmy. It was hard defending you in the family chat. I got a bunch of Knicks fans in there. I got a bunch of Laker fans in there.
Well, hold on.
Very hard to.
I got one more thing. So after that went down, this was shared on social media, and this is very, 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 very accurate. I wish I had.
You ain't gonna pay. He ain't gonna pay because that big bitch ain't playing. So.
Oh, I need the sound.
Oh!
He was ready.
God damn it.
He was ready. Look at this guy. They zoom in on this dude's face.
Yeah, he hot. He hot.
He's hot, boy. You can tell
Yeah,
him.
he
That
hot.
big motherfucker
Yeah,
ain't
homie,
playing.
he
No.
hot. He hot.
He thought I was running from the 5. I had one.
I'm good. I'm good.
Yo, look at
He
Jimmy.
ain't gonna pay.
Should be like,
He
play.
ain't
I
gonna pay.
dare you to
That big
play
bitch
that.
ain't playing.
Yo, he looks. You remember in WWE when The Rock would date somebody, he'd be ready just to give him the.
Yep. He had the Rock look right there.
He had The Rock was ready to spear someone, yo.
Man just said, I hate when people do that when we slap him bounce.
Ain't that crazy?
That dude was mad.
Yo, messed the whole table up.
Messed the whole table up.
Bones flying all over the place. Oh man. Hey, thank God they weren't in Jamaica on the corner side. Yo, it would have been crazy.
Boy, he's serious about his dominoes too.
Nah, he is. You can find him in the middle of Hialeah, you know what I mean, with a cigar.
I know. I've heard he's there playing with all those old guys.
Yeah, he got his cigar and his guayabera, and he's good to go.
Bro.
Nah, you know what? But shout out to Jimmy. Jimmy always keeps it light. He wants you to talk about something probably sometimes outside of sports. Keeps the pressure off the other guys that might have be feeling a little bit uncomfortable. So for media day, he took that pressure right off of them. Bam had some jokes with him. So I think
I didn't think about that because all the conversation would have been is you didn't get Dame time.
What? How's Tyler Hero feeling? All of this stuff, they would have been harping on the offseason, and Jimmy came and cleared all of that with the bad hair.
So there we go. It was strategic. I see what you got. Jimmy, you all right, Jimmy.
You see what I'm saying?
Jimmy's all right. Jimmy's like, all right, what can I do so that these questions are focused on me and not Tyler Hero or Dame Time?
You see that?
By the way, do you think Dame Time's going to be any good?
I think that pick and roll is going to
be. Are they the favorites in the East?
Milwaukee Celtics is going to give them a run. You know what's funny? They're going to have time to get acclimated. I expect Milwaukee to do well. Obviously, what are you going to do? You can't take away the paint and then leave the 3-point open for Dame. Can't defend the 3-point line and leave the paint open for Giannis. And then they have all those defensively there. Well, Celtics, when they got Drew Holiday, I thought it changed their chance immensely because they almost got a better Marcus Smart. They got an offensive version of Marcus Smart that can defend multiple positions, especially in the front court. I think their front court is a little light. Porzingis, they got rid of and Horford, they got rid of Williams. So we'll see. And I think the Miami Heat are just that veteran team that comes every year.
Can the Miami Heat do anything to get another star to come in? Because I feel like that's what they need to do it.
They need one more, but
I don't think they're going to get it.
At the same time, we're looking at a team that was in the Eastern Conference Finals 3 of the last 4 years and in the NBA Finals 2 of the last 4. If you had that, if any other team did that, I don't think any other team had that run in the last 4 years. Granted, hopefully we won a we wanted to win a championship, but this team that we are talking is undervalued, doesn't have any star players. They're still bringing it, and I do feel if we don't, let's say we don't, Steven, we don't get a star. Tyler Hero has to become that star. He has to become the guy that we do not want to trade in the offseason, and that is up to him. The last time I saw him play was in that Miami Pro Final, and he dropped 44. Granted, it was the Miami
Pro Final, bro.
Granted, it was.
Genesis, stop pumping up what you're a part of. Stop it, Genesis.
I got to. But hold on. Even though it was the Miami Pro, he was playing with all pros on the court. Bam is on the court. He's not playing against a bunch of, sticklers. He was playing against NBA talent. It just happened to be in the offseason, and he dropped 44. And it was a good look. The hand is healed. I know that much. You can't drop 44 with a broken hand. So Tyler Hero, to me, is the key for the Heat taking it, possibly getting back to the Eastern Conference Finals or the Finals. He has to be the guy. He has to have a all-star season. Full stop.
All right. Where can the people find you, Genesis? Where can they find all your stuff? And what do you have going on?
What we got going on? I'm here every Tuesday. Got that going on. You know,
Hot Take Tuesday.
Hot Take Tuesdays is one of the hottest joints here. I'm loving it. And I appreciate all the fans that saw me at the tailgate that watched it that said, yo, they appreciate it. Yo, so you know
You were getting people coming up to you talking
yo,
about,
man, I love. Yo, I was around Solo's like, we appreciate it. And they had a couple fans like, oh, you on Genesis, you on the show. I was like, yo, this is dope. Yeah, man. So Steve, we got people to follow.
I'm kind of famous. People know me.
They know who you
some
are.
people.
They were like, yeah,
people know me.
They call you SD. You know what I mean?
I lie to you not. So Solo, very first, like last year, Solo is at the tailgate late. By the way, I heard he's been getting there early. Crazy. I'd love to see him.
He was there before me.
I don't believe he's going to do it this week. He's going to keep it with me.
Hold on, Solo. I need them sweet tickets too. I need them sweet tickets. I know I was supposed to get them this game, but I'm getting them this game. All right, just a little hot take. Go ahead.
Well, I'm coming with you in the suite then. I need
that. We in the sweet life, baby.
You?
Sweet life, baby. Sweet life.
I need it. I'm serious.
Let's go.
Let's make it. I need it. Don't play with me.
Hey, Solo. So he the plug. You know that's what we go. I'm throwing it on him. I threw it him on here. Is he?
We not going. We not.
But
my ticket right now is in the deep end. I'm in row 2 at the end, right there in the deep end with all the super fans. But I would love to be in the suite because I'd like to be in air conditioning. I'm a big guy. I'd rather not be in the sun.
Trust me, it's hot out there. If you're not in the shade,
it's hot. Oh, it's hot. It is something. But I'm in the deep end. But I want to be in Club Live.
That's dope. So I might pass by there. I know the DJs. Just hang with me, Steven. We just gonna end up in places, you know what I mean? So what else we got going on? The Panthers start their season. We're doing our rehearse. Panthers start their season next week. Thursday
next week is opening night.
Home opening night. We start tomorrow. The NHL season starts today and tomorrow.
Okay.
We got a triple header on ESPN for those NHL fans that want to show that love. And then the Panthers start tomorrow on the road. But our first home game is next week, Thursday. You can catch me in the building at Emirates Bank Arena. Emirates Bank Arena. We've changed the naming rights.
Emirates, Emirates Airlines?
Like Emirates, yeah. Is that it? Is that
Emirates Airlines? So does that mean you get like free tickets from Emirates? Free flights?
I mean, I'm trying to get my clout up. You know.
Trying to get my money up.
Not Emirates, not Emirates, not Emirates. Emirates is a bank. Emirates is a bank.
Emirates. Okay.
Yeah, trying to get some investments through them. So that's the naming rights. We got some concerts coming up. I'll be at the Rod Wave concert coming up at Emirates Bank. You know, rocking out there. So Rod Wave is gonna come through.
Okay.
And perform, and it's gonna be fun. What else we got going on?
What else do you have going on?
We got some things with Bacardi coming up. Once the season starts, I kind of lock in with that, and then
we got to get Bacardi on here. We got to get Bacardi.
Get some Bacardi fans on here. What else we got going on? New Year's. You know, is that part of the season where you start thinking about things? My birthday's coming up, November 27th. Hopefully, Steven, if I don't know if you're gonna be in Miami. I know you got to do the family thing, but if you happen to be down here Thanksgiving weekend, I'm gonna throw a nice little bash for all
a little soiree,
you know, for a couple hundred of my friends.
I made the list, y'all.
You know what I mean? No, we're doing it big. We're gonna be in a penthouse, best drinks. Stanley's gonna pull up. You know, I got to bring my mascot with me, so it's gonna be fun.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm planning that. I actually got to go have a meeting, go down to the penthouse, check it out. See what the vibes is.
I want to be like you when I grow up, Genesis.
Hey, you got to keep it going, man. You got to get the people what they want.
All right, couple things I need people to realize. Friday, Dirty Sportswear, Oakland Park, 9:30 to noon. We will be there live. My man,
I'll be there.
You gonna be there? Nando Talk, Solo D, Tamaris, Cameron, Worldwide Dolphins. I'm expecting about 20 to 30 people there.
I think
it's going to be a nice little vibe, like nice little shindig, little get together.
I think
we're going to have food. We're going to have food provided by Hangry Owls.
Shut up, the Hangry.
So I'm excited about that. I think my man Batman's coming in with some drinks, so we should have some drinks on deck too. So
what if we ask a fan who has the best fandemonium? You know what I'm saying? Who's going to come decked out in some Dolphin gear, and then we'll talk to them, put them on camera. You know, see what fun we can make with that. You know, who's gonna come as fanned out next week Friday, and you know we might have a clock blockers gift bag for you. You know what I mean?
Okay, I ain't mad at it. We'll talk.
You know, let's shout out to the most fandemonium.
Saturday, October 14th, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. You already know what that is. That is fan club weekend, the fan and club meet and greet at Bow Campers. The link I'm putting in the chat right now. RSVP. It's free. Just RSVP for free on Tailgreeter. The link is in the chat. We're gonna have me, Solo D, DJ Tropic 2.0 is gonna be on the ones and twos. East 32 is in the building, Cameron. And then NorCal Doll Fan Club and Atlanta Doll Fan Club, the leaders of that, Mark Angelo and Scott Howe, are the ones that put this whole thing, this whole shindig together, along with Cameron with the tailgate the day after. And then obviously I'm there as well with Miami Sports Music. So it's going to be good. It's a free event. If you can't make it, we're going to stream everything live right here on the YouTube channel. So it's going to, that's going to be good.
And for those that can't make it this weekend, like I did with the tailgate, I'm going to do a little recap, show a little love. And then we come on Tuesday. And then on Tuesday, we show the fans what they missed,
It'll be good. I like it.
Make sure that they're there.
And then next week, we still have limited tickets left for the Philly Finvasion in Philadelphia.
That's gonna be fun. Now
we have over 200 people RSVP'd for the Saturday night meet and greet at Miller's Ale House. We got limited tickets left for that. We have limited tickets left for the tailgate, so get your tailgate tickets. And we have a few bus tickets left to go from the hotel back to the game and back. So go ahead, go to tailgreeter.com or download the app, go to Philly Finvasion, get your tickets. They're almost gone. They're almost sold out.
They're almost sold out. Go get them. Get them while they're hot. Get them while they're buttered.
Oh boy. It should be the next couple of weeks are going to be fire. It's going to be real good. So
it'll be fun. Like who knows what we're going to be talking about? We either will be talking about a big win that we expected or some type of debacle nonsense that we shouldn't be going through after next season leading into Philly. I'm excited to see what the Dolphins do this week against the 0-5 Carolina Panthers. And we should be good to go. I can't wait till next week.
And then Sunday, East 32, tailgate.
East 32, we outside, baby.
Road 209, everybody hanging out, Metro Rail boys, everybody. We out here.
We outside.
We outside.
Y'all thought this recap was good. Wait till you see next week's recap of the tailgate. Steven gonna be in the building.
Wilding out Wednesday tomorrow. Wilding out Wednesday tomorrow. All the fans, wilding out Wednesday. Come on, hang out. We're gonna have a good show. Hit the like button. Donate to the channel if you want to see the channel grow. Support the channel. It helps. We'll see y'all tomorrow right here on Clock Blockers, the #1 Miami fan morning show. Peace.
My intuition told me this. To trust the coach, he holds the gift. He knowing when to go with fit. So we knowing when to switch. This year we got the golden pick. Time to see what that